近頃主人の帰りがなんだか早いんです。
あ、小島さん、
番組録画して自分だけのカラオケテープ作ったりして。
日本全国つつららら、今度は歌える G ビデオラララ。
新登場。
すごい簡単、気持ちいい。
君のマジンガーを強くする代表的な武器を紹介する。 XX2 高視力火炎銃、 XX6 メガトンクレーン、 XX8 スレッドストリーマー、 XX10 リキッドシューター、 XX11 重戦車 Z、 XX15 ドリルミサイル、 ZZ4 信号金ボウガン、 ZZ6 超三連爆撃弾、 ZZ8 無敵上もこれで完璧。今マシンダー切って10枚を送るとジャンボマシンダーの大格納庫を全員に送る。
あの怪獣は今
スターと呼ばれた青春だった。力の限りの青春だった。時は過ぎゆく、時代は変わる。それでも僕らは生きてゆく。広い社会の片隅でつつましやかに生きてゆく。さあ送ってください、君の傑作写真を。バンダイウルトラ怪獣大変身コンテスト。
Today on Collectible Monsters, the Meatbag crew celebrates my second film, Terror of Mechagodzilla. And based on their reactions, I decide whether or not to destroy them utterly. Plus, we have a giveaway! Ikimashou!
All right, welcome to Collectible Monsters, our new episode, talking all about Terror of Mechagodzilla. How's everybody doing today?
Excellent. How about you, sir?
Doing okay. Now let me reposition my camera here for a second. Okay, all right.
I'm going to do the same thing.
Cool. All right, so yeah, we've got a full docket today on the show, and everything's gonna just go peachy for this brand new episode, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. We've got 23 people tuning in already. So hey, what's up to you guys? Thanks to the time change in America, it's 7 a.m. here in Japan when we start the show. So Ohio gozaimasu to everybody. And yeah, just gonna go ahead and get this show cracking. Nothing to. What's up, Leslie? What you looking at?
Why is your beard that long?
Oh my gosh, love it. Oh my god.
This is my normal beard, right? It's not.
No. What the hell is that?
Oh, I like the Mifune connection. The Mifune connection. That's a good one. Yes. No, actually, this is just a gag. So
That's awesome.
I had surgery, and a week before I had to have surgery, they're like, by the way, you got to shave that beard off. And I was like, excuse me? I don't know if I need this surgery now, but I did it.
What? They didn't make me shave mine off for the operation.
They didn't?
No,
oh, well.
I would excuse me, take the IV out, I'm leaving.
Yeah, well, the first thing I did when they said it was I looked right at Lady Kyle, and I was like, is that okay? Because this is the first time she's ever seen me without a beard, so.
Wow.
Me too.
Dude,
yeah.
Me
I know,
too.
it's probably the first time almost everybody who would watch
so.
this show has seen me without a beard. The last time I shaved my beard was in 2009 when I first started the Kaiju cast, and I literally went like, I do look 12. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I thought
I'm 20 years younger. Wow.
I thought it was. I wouldn't go that far.
Thank you, David.
I thought it was.
Wait, let me do this too.
Well,
Oh,
there you
how's
go.
that?
There you
Am I
go.
looking more
You're
20 years
channeling your
younger now?
90s. You're channeling your 90s look. I love it.
Just please put it back the other way.
Yeah, no problem. It will stay the other way.
I
Secondhand
thought it was
embarrassment.
one of those video things that you do, those things you put on the screen. That you
Oh, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm
Little
saying?
face filter.
Yeah,
Oh, the
face
filter.
filter. I thought it was a face filter, but it's not. It's real. You're not seeing. This is real. Oh my god. Okay.
This is real. This is
Wow.
real. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is actually so I had surgery on Thursday like just over a week ago. So we're at
Wow.
only a week and a half's worth of growth. I'm not one of those people that like wakes up the next morning with the full beard.
That's me.
Unfortunately. But it'll be back. The best thing is I have to go out in public and go like see some people. I'm going to see the Hayashias later on today.
Oh,
nice.
And,
Oh,
yeah,
Aw.
Please give them my regards, our regards, and
I will.
I know you're going to see Greg Coggin next week, right?
That's right. And you know who else is in town right now in Tokyo is Monster Lou.
Oh, Lou.
Lou's in town.
Oh,
Yeah. So
wow.
Lou and
yeah.
Rob were in town. That's right.
yeah, we're gonna
And,
have dinner with them, early dinner tomorrow, I think, with them in Tokyo.
Nice.
So
Fantastic.
Aw.
Fantastic.
all right. Well, let's see here. Let's go ahead and really get the show started because as fun as that was, I need to get this giant camera screen off of me and back onto the rest of my co-hosts here because it does every time I walk past a mirror. I'm like, who the hell is that guy? And you know what? We do need to get the show started proper. So let's go ahead and kick things off with our classic Showa and Tell. Kick us off, Leslie.
I'm still kind of in shock.
Yeah.
I was looking at you. I'm like, and we're like family now, so I'm like, something's off. It's like
Something's wrong.
something is wrong. Why is his beard look like? Did he grow that in the past like 3 or 4 days? I know you have great regenerating powers, so I didn't.
Not that good though.
I didn't put it past you, but I was like, wait a minute, why do you look like a troll with the hats, but now with the beard off, you look so different. Now I can't call you punk rock Santa Claus. You look like you actually look like Santa Claus. Actually, a younger brother who's a gigolo who has commitment issues. But you look great, and you know what? Congrats on a speedy recovery. We hope.
Thank you, man.
Continue to get better and stronger and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
Secondly, of course, John Ruff is not with us. Of course, I know he would have loved to have been here to talk about this movie that we're going to talk about.
Right? I was super shocked when he said he couldn't make it, but
Yeah, me
it
too.
is what it is.
Yeah, me too. So he's with us in spirit, I'm sure. And thirdly, welcome back, Christine. Welcome back to the show. We miss you being on and all that good stuff. So we're here for you, and that's all I'm gonna say about when it comes to that. But thank you so much, everybody, for being here for another edition of Collect All Monsters. Oh, happy day! Oh, happy day! It is a great day. It is a great day, especially for me personally, because today we get to celebrate one of my most favorite Godzilla films of all time. Yes, today marks the 50th anniversary of the final film of the Showa film series, 1975's Terror of Mechagodzilla. Yes, the final time Godzilla arose from the ocean to defend the Earth, and once he did, he disappeared and would not be seen again for another almost 10 years. But you know what? It was a great epic note to go out on the Showa series, and we'll talk more about that later on. So we're going to talk about, what we love about the film, our favorite collectibles from the film, all that good stuff. It really is an epic film, And again, so I'm going to Japan in a couple. It's going to be like November before it's all said and done. I'm only showcasing 2 things in my show and tell this time around. One for myself and one for my beautiful wife Sandra. And we already showcased these on a couple prior supplemental videos here on Collect All Monsters, but it doesn't hurt to show them again. But in Sandra's case, she got herself an awesome bust from Black Heart Models. And you know what? You have not heard the last of that company on this show. Just saying. But she got herself the awesome large-scale bust of the GMK Godzilla. I think you may have heard that the GMK Godzilla is like one of her favorite Godzillas, you know?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And we did a supplemental video last week on the channel. Please check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. But of course, this is from Black Heart Models. You know, she got this at G-Fest last year. Had to send it to Marcellus Winters to have it built and painted. And we got it a couple of weeks ago, and she absolutely loves this thing. I do believe this is her favorite GMK piece in her collection, which says a lot because she has a lot of GMK pieces.
I can see why. I can see why.
But
Like,
yes,
it's awesome.
it is great, and it's like it made me open up more to Black Heart Models, you know. And again, they are a great company. So if you want a good likeness of a bust of a popular character, of course he has Godzilla, the GMK Godzilla. He has, I think, Shin Godzilla. I think he's done a legendary Godzilla. Sorry, David. Another certain Godzilla, but I don't want to spoil anything. Just saying. But he also done other popular characters like the Universal monsters, like Frankenstein's monster, the classic Wolfman, the Invisible Man. You know, so please check out their website, blackheartmodels.com, and get you one of their busts. And give a shout out to George Stevenson. He's the man behind Black Heart Models. So again, if you want a great bust, or this bust in particular, the GMK Godzilla, hit up blackheartmodels.com. And if you can't build a paint it yourself, you got David, you got Marcellus, you got John LeGrand, you got Mark St. Yang, you got a plethora of awesome artists in our community that will help you out in that situation for a slight fee. Just a slight fee, just saying. So so that's it with the first show and tell. And again, Sandra was happy. Sandra was so happy. And my second piece, it's ironic, you know, we're both doing Millennium pieces, you know. We just talked about GMK. So let me bring up, Kyle, before you show the pictures, this, oh my God, it's heavy. This 30 centimeter resin model kit from Galloping Ghost.
Ooh.
30 centimeter scale.
Oh my God.
Kaiser
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Sick.
Yeah, and I know this Ghidorah
Huge.
may not be the most highly popular one when it comes to Ghidorah designs, but I've been getting a lot of Godzilla Final War stuff to complete my collection of 30 centimeter pieces. Galloping Ghost has been helping me out a lot on that. So I knew I needed to have 30 centimeter Ghidorah, Kaiser Ghidorah, in my collection. And again, this is 30 centimeters. And you know what? It's been like a goal of mine to get a 30 centimeter Ghidorah in my collection, because mostly the ones I have are 25 centimeter or the gigantic one that you see every month. But I never had a 30 centimeter one. And it's quite ironic that the one I chose would be Kaiser, you know?
Wow.
And I know for a fact that Kyle, he has appreciation for Kaiser Ghidorah. And fun fact, you know what Kaiser stands for? Because once I got this kit, you know, I started doing some research on Kaiser Ghidorah. You know what Kaiser stands for? It's German for emperor. So technically, he would be called Emperor Ghidorah, and technically he is considered like the strongest of the Ghidorahs, and he's higher than King Ghidorah, because an emperor oversees a multitude of kingdoms, whereas a king only oversees one. So technically in the pecking order, even though Kaiser Ghidorah gets a lot of hate because of Final Wars, but technically he is higher in the food chain in the pecking order when it comes to Ghidorahs. I bet you didn't know that. You know that? When I found out about it, I was like, wow. And I've been hating on this thing for a while, but put some respect on his name. You know what I'm saying? Put some respect on Kaiser Ghidorah. You know what I'm saying? So, but Kyle has some photographs, if you don't mind sharing those for me, of what this thing looks like up against other pieces. That right there is the X Plus 30 centimeter 2004 Godzilla from Final Wars.
Wow, that thing is huge.
It towers.
That's exactly how it was in the film, because Kaiser Ghidorah was twice as big as Godzilla, and I love how he beat the crap out of him for at least 5 minutes, right? He was the only monster, really, outside of Monster X, that really gave Godzilla a real fight in that film. So to see at least a version of Ghidorah beat Godzilla's senses, because it's always been the other way around, right? Godzilla has always gotten the better of Ghidorah, but at least in those 5 minutes, Kaiser Ghidorah or Emperor Ghidorah really beat the dog crap out of Godzilla, you know what I'm saying? But having these two together, again, this is so cool. And the final shot I want Kyle to showcase it's kind of like a little twist. Because I know that when it comes to GMK, we love that movie. We love everything about that movie. But the one thing that's a constant criticism of that film is people do not love King Ghidorah from that film. People do not love the design of a Ghidorah from that film. But what if the K in GMK was for Kaiser Ghidorah? What if Kaiser Ghidorah was a Ghidorah that fought Godzilla in GMK? I guarantee you it would not have been a one-sided fight. So it kind of makes you wonder what would have happened if we would have saw Kaiser Ghidorah in GMK versus the chicken wing Ghidorah that we did get. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to think about
chicken feet. Let's get it straight.
Baby.
Yeah, chicken feet. It's nice to think what would have happened, or what could have happened if Kaiser Ghidorah made an appearance than the other Ghidorah, you know? Honestly, I think the Kaiser Ghidorah kind of fits better because of him being four-legged. And there are mythological monsters in GMK. So I kind of think that the Kaiser Ghidorah probably could have fit better with GMK.
Interesting.
I'm just saying. But right here, you know what I'm saying? This looks great. And again, it would have gave Godzilla at least a fight that was not one-sided in his favor, you know. But again, thank you to Mark Sang-Yang for making this happen for me. He built and painted for me. And also thank you to Doc Matt from Galloping Ghost for hooking me up with this awesome kit. You have not heard the last of Galloping Ghost on this show, you know what I'm saying? So that's it with the Galloping Ghost Kaiser Ghidorah, the GMK bust of the Blackheart models that Sandra got. We were blessed this time around, you know what I'm saying? But you know, it's not about me. It's about the rest of my awesome co-hosts here. So I'm going to kick it over to my main man down in Southern California, the one and the only David Airp.co. What's going on, David?
Hey, Leslie. Congratulations on those awesome pieces. I actually just got a chance to watch your video with Doc Mack, your model video. And the only thing missing from that episode was me. Just kidding. No, I really couldn't contribute because I never built a Galloping Ghost kit or anything, but I found it really interesting. And I'm actually doing a tutorial, model building tutorial in our group. Kind of didn't even talk to my co-host. Just said, I'm screwed. I'm just going to do it because I get so many people asking me to do it. And I'm about 3/4 of the way done with completing the Billiken 1965 kit. Anyway, what I really wanted to say was I had that video on in the background as I'm doing it. So it was really, you know, I was a captive audience and I watched it from start to finish. And it was, I learned a lot. And I've actually never met Doc Mack in person, but he seems like a great guy, super talented. And again, I enjoyed it. And you guys, if you haven't seen it, just go to our YouTube channel and you can catch it, watch it anytime at your convenience. So yeah, so that's about it for that part. But so Showa and Tell. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me. So let's start with the good. Kyle, you have some images of something that I just framed, and I'm really, really happy. And I'm trying to find just the right place to hang this beautiful piece of artwork up. So Kyle is getting it ready to go. Hopefully, Alex Sawyer is in the chat.
Wow.
Okay, so this is a sort of Shodai style, Shodai Godzilla drawn, painted in the Edo style. And he looks like a yokai or a ghost. And I just love it so much. I finally got it framed. And thank you so much, Alex. I love this piece. It's beautiful. You're a super talented guy. Jonathan Portman and I were thinking of doing a supplemental and featuring Alex and his artwork at some point in the near future. So that should be great because I think that he should be celebrated because no one does anything like him. And
he found his niche with this.
He certainly did. And I know a lot of collectors have discovered Alex, and he's done some custom pieces for people. Please, you know, look him up. He's super talented. And again, I finally bit the bullet and got a frame for it. So there's the first one. All right, the second one, this is kind of interesting. So, all right, there's a segue into this too. So 2 days ago, Mondo did a reveal of a really awesome thing. Christine was watched with me. It's I think the quintessential Creature from the Black Lagoon figure ever made. I have no images of it right now, but I have to plug it because it ties into something that I have. Steve Saragioli, Beto Matali from Roto Kaiju, and Peter and Hector all collaborated for this most amazing creature. Please check it out on YouTube. It's called Mondo Toy Talk. It's awesome. You'll love it if you're a fan of the creature. But anyway, we were talking about watching this, and I was having a private conversation with Peter, and he's like, yeah, Dave, you're like one of the biggest, creature fans. And I said, yeah, there's this cool figure out there that I'm trying to find. It's a NECA toy that is an old Ben Cooper Halloween costume figure that I actually was for Halloween in like 1972 or something. And they're not available anymore, and I couldn't find one for a decent price. And of course, Peter, being the great guy that he is, says, "Oh, I've got one. I'll send it to you." And basically,
So nice.
it's this right here.
That's so cool.
love it.
And I don't have it with me now, but when we come back from break, I will show you my actual costume that I still have. It's in a box over there. But down to the trick or treat bag, the same trick or treat bag that I had. This is like
Crazy.
Totally nostalgic for me. And even the box looks like the box that these costumes came in. And they were like $1.50 at Woolworths back in the day.
Wow.
And of course, they're all like, the flammable costumes and everything, but who cares about that stuff? You couldn't see out of the eyes, but and I really did think I was the creature from the Black Lagoon. I really did. So Peter, you're an awesome guy. I love you for that. And again, it's just a little unexpected sort of like show and tell item. Now, let's get into the thing that I'm not stoked about.
Uh-oh.
I consider myself to be a pretty smart guy, but sometimes I'm pretty damn stupid, right? I'm trying to get a representation of at least one Showa Kaiju in my collection, right? And I'm missing a Kumanga. Okay, I don't have a Kumanga. I sold my Parababy. I sold my X Plus for really big money. By the way, that X Plus one. Plus, I have no room for him. But anyway, long story short, the Godzilla store is offering these D'Agostini figures, little kind of like cast style figures, maybe a little bit bigger. And I didn't do my homework and really read what I'm actually getting when I ordered this piece. So I ordered this, right, thinking that I'm going to get Kumanga and a 55 Godzilla.
Oh, no.
You want to see what I really got? I got this thing, which is missing pieces. No tail.
Oh, missing missing pieces?
No.
Well,
no.
hang on.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And here, you want to see my Kumanga? This is even better.
Oh, boy.
David! What?
Son of
You
a
got it. You got a leg.
I got a leg. No, I got two legs.
You got two legs.
These do not come in one box. You have to get 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 boxes to get the complete figure. And I am just the dumbest guy. I feel so stupid because it's my own fault. It's not D'Agostini's fault. It's my fault. And now I have to go back and buy the other 2 sets. Yeah, assembly is required. Yeah. Also, like getting the pieces is required before I can even assemble. But I was just so like irritated with myself that I just assumed I was getting those 2 in the box.
I would love to see your face when you opened it. There's just like 2 legs.
Well, the thing of it is, Christine, I actually had a feeling that something was rotten in Denmark because it wasn't that expensive.
Yeah.
And then I put it out there in our group. They're like, oh, no, you got to get like 2 more boxes. You got to get like box 16 and 17 for that. And then you got to get 27 for the Godzilla. Good thing I didn't want Biollante. There's like 5 boxes for that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ghidorah is the same thing.
And Ghidorah too.
Like,
and it's like, man, I should have known because D'Agostini, that's one of their gimmicks is they do the each piece comes once a month in the little booklet thing. But I'm so irritated with myself. And so I have to go by and they do. They do. Yeah, but I
do they have the other 2 boxes? you to buy it?
Luckily they're available.
Oh, they're
now,
out already.
Now I
Okay.
have to go and buy them. But
Oh.
and now that figure is going to cost me a hell of a lot more than I thought it was going to cost me.
Right.
And now I'm going to get stuck with extra pieces that I don't even need because the other things come with that. But anyway, that's my whole saga of box days.
Dang.
And
That's
again,
terrible.
you know, first world problems here. It's like, you know, it's not that big a deal in the scheme of things, but you know, when I do stupid stuff like that, I only have myself to blame. Yep. Yeah.
Oh man.
But no,
However,
what's that?
David, I would like to say real quick, if you, you know, I'm happy to help you locate those other pieces if you want some assistance.
I
from the
am
Japan
happy
side
to
of
take
things.
you up on that because
Okay.
I don't want to pay the price that the Godzilla store has. So if we can do
Yeah.
a little bit less than that, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. And one thing, you know, Leslie was talking about, you know, it's the anniversary of Terror of Mechagodzilla, and you know, Godzilla had a 10-year hiatus, and he looked a certain way when he left, and then he looked a certain way when he came back, kind of just like Kyle. He looked a certain way last month, and now he looks completely different, but it's still the same monster. And one more thing, when I watched the promo for the first time, like the rest of you, I never knew that was Mechagodzilla's voice. Wow. Kind of sounds a little bit like Kyle, but no,
like
no.
like a little bit between me and Skeletor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Plus, we have a giveaway.
Kyle hybrid Skeletor. So if they ever do an anime of Mechagodzilla, Kyle, yeah, you got the job, man. You got it. So, all right, I'm talking
Thank
way
you.
too much, and I'm going to pass it. Leslie shaking his head already. Oh, just wait. All right, I'm going to pass it. Is Christine or Jonathan going next? Who's going next?
I would say Christine's going next.
Well, then I'm going to pass it down to
Oh.
Christine. Christine, we're thrilled to have you back, and we love you.
Hey,
All I gotta say.
thanks, guys. I'm happy to be back. I miss you and all. And yeah, it's been a rough month, but we're getting through it, and we got to think happy thoughts. And I have thank you all of you for everything you've done for me and my family. So love you guys for sure. So I have had some box days. I'm gonna save the best for last, the biggest and best for last. One thing I'm really excited about is I love the people in our group. Oh my goodness. So I do like to collect my hair babies, and there's a few that I really want that I've been missing. And someone had posted a set of like all of them, like all the pair babies, which unfortunately I didn't want to buy all of them because I had most of them. But there's one particular set I wanted, and I was like, oh, you know, if you ever split it up, I would like such and such. But fortunately, somebody else had it for sale. Tom Corrado, I want to say thank you very much. I got the glowy King Caesar set. So we got Mechagodzilla.
Wow.
Nice.
Who's, you know, kind of in our theme here, the pre-Mechagodzilla 2. And yeah,
I've
the
got
glowy.
him.
So
I've got him. Yep. Beautiful.
so excited to have both of these in my collection. So I'm slowly completing my very small list of ones that I'm missing. So really happy to have it. And they glow super bright too.
They're fantastic.
Really great. So
Congratulations.
thank you, Tom, for that. And then I can't remember if I showed this off in January because I don't remember when I got it. But if I didn't, I'm going to show off again. The Bandai Movie Monster Series, Little Godzilla. He's so cute. So I got this from Beast of the East, which they have great prices, super fast shipping too. But I need more Bandais. Like most of the Bandais I have, I left at home for my niece and nephew. But I was like, you know, I mean, they're super great prices. They're really like movie accurate, screen accurate, cute. I mean, look at how cute. And I need more Little Godzilla in my life. So
it's great. It's such a great figure. And I think Leslie said last week, it's like you put that next to the X Plus, it's like almost as good.
Yes.
You
And
know?
like the details just so. I think this is a newer sculpt that they had of
Those are
Baby
underrated.
Godzilla. So yeah, and like for the price, you can't beat it. And I like the cute little look at his little picture on here. So cute.
I think it's funny that like Bandai had like a real solid run of garbage sculpts for like the newer stuff, and just really recently they seem to have like realized, oh, we screwed up, and they started putting out good stuff like this Little Godzilla,
Fantastic.
and the Shay Dance Godzilla and stuff like that. Yeah, like
Oh yeah, I have that coming too.
And
excited.
and good stuff, Kyle. Like let's backtrack. The Bandai Premium was excellent stuff, but it was really expensive. So this is like the
I literally
Like
consider
30
that to be
bucks?
almost like a different company
I
in a
agree.
sense because
Yeah.
it's aimed at a different collector market, and like these, like what Christine's holding, these, while yes they're geared towards Godzilla collectors, they're definitely like
accessible. Yeah,
they're
really accessible.
making thousands and thousands of these as opposed to the premium Bandai, which is probably just hundreds.
And they're coming out with a lot. Like now they have like the new -1 colors, which I really like what they're doing with like the special colors. Like they have the cherry blossom one, they have the Mount
Fuji one. Mount Fuji
Oh,
was
it's
pretty interesting.
so
You know, those are like
beautiful.
small
I really
too.
like that.
I saw one of those in the store the other day, and I was really surprised that like it's even
Oh, so
smaller
that's
than a
the
standard
regular?
6-inch scale.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah,
was 6-inch. Oh,
me
okay.
too. And then I was like, wait a sec,
So they're tiny,
that's
tinier.
tiny.
Well, like 4 inches?
I mean, like
5
I'd say like
inches?
maybe 5 inches, but I didn't have my tape measure with me, so
Oh.
I'm gonna be seeing more actually. The Godzilla store just opened an Odaiba location.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah.
so Frank, who is one of our members and one of our viewers and might be watching live while he's in line for another toy show, he actually went with his son on opening day, and I'm going to go with Greg, I think, on Thursday to go check it out. So
That's some cool stuff. The
yeah,
plushies
but they
are
have a
so
bunch of
cute.
this stuff there, that new Bandai stuff there.
And I love that you can see it like hanging, like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them hanging in a row instead of
Right?
like, and these great sculpts, instead of like Kyle said, they kind of phoned it in for several years in a row, and now
I
they're
know,
like, hey,
just
wait a minute,
like look at that.
let's get our blank together. Cool.
Literally, like this is the best looking little Godzilla I've seen.
It's
So
good.
pretty.
It's really
very
good.
Perfect. All right, so my last guy, he's really big. So Leslie talked about Blackheart models earlier. So I got my very first bust from Blackheart
nice.
models. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to have it. So I sent it off to our amazing friend, Greg Vetters.
Wow.
Check this sucker out, man. The
Wow.
-1 wall hanger.
Yeah, it is.
I think these are still on. So there's a smaller one. So they have a smaller size, but this is the big boy. And look at this perfect paint job that Greg did. Like I can't even like just.
Yeah, let's see
the
them
detail on
eyes,
the
Christine. Let me
teeth.
see those
Yeah,
eyes.
the eyes. Oh, can I get it?
Okay, yeah, he's good.
There's like
He's good
little
with eyes.
veins and stuff in here, and then I wanted the blue dorsals, and because I love blue, and I was like, oh, I want it to look like he's, because eventually I'm gonna hang it on the wall, so I want it to look like he's like busting through the wall, all charged up, ready to go. So, like Leslie was saying, we have a lot of great artists and kit builders in our community that can, because I don't know the first thing about kits painting. Like this guy, when he came in, he was just all white, like this clear white kind of color. And look at him now, the dry brushing that he did. Like we got the cheek scar on here.
It's crazy.
Just like way above my expectations of what I had in my mind. And I just love how the spines came out. They're perfect. Oh, so I love it. And then I wanted to real quick. He put this on the back for me, which I thought was really sweet. I remember my dad.
That is sweet.
Because I had told my dad about that I had gotten this. And so he had passed before it was finished, so he didn't get to see the finished one. But I thought that was really sweet. So thank you, Greg. And I know Justine had given him some tips regarding the blue dorsal. So thank you, Justine, for that as well. I really cannot wait to hang it up on my wall. I'm gonna get some cool, like, the decals look like the wall is cracking apart, like he's busting through
you should
it.
totally do that. That'd be awesome.
I gotta figure out where I want to put it.
Make sure you hang that carefully, because you live in California, and God forbid, the earth shakes and that thing comes through. You might not even have the decal on there. Just be careful.
We've been having a decent amount of them recently too, so.
I know, which is weird because I haven't felt anything, even though there's been some around our area. Like I have 2 figures that, like, you look at them and they fall over, and they haven't fallen over at all, which is so weird to me. But
I
I'm
don't
like,
know if,
okay, whatever.
I don't know, Christine or Jonathan, if you do this. Every once in a while, I'll go by my shelves and I'll shake them just to make sure something's
I'm not doing that.
and then if anything starts to wobble, I sturdy it up because we live like 8 miles from the San Andreas Fault. Like literally,
God, scary.
it's not my fault.
Definitely.
Really, it's not. But
Noteworthy. Yeah.
I didn't even get a smile from that, but I think it's all right.
You got a smile from me.
Okay, I can't see. Okay. but no, seriously, when you hang that sucker up, make sure it's on like a load-bearing wall or something because you don't want that.
Oh yeah, I'll have Joe find a good like stud or whatever it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Stick it in there.
I told you,
That's
Greg,
on the
it's
hood
awesome.
of a car. Yeah,
I told you, Greg. No,
Oh yeah,
cool.
right. I know
That
we should
would
have
be
for my
cool.
motorcycle. Maybe I should get another one to put.
A little top
on
heavy
my
there. I don't
handlebars.
know.
You can't afford it, so don't worry about it.
Uh-oh. Leslie's back. Leslie's back. That didn't take long.
Whatever, but oh my god, I can't even like the amount of detail that he put in this thing. Look at that.
Yeah.
Those eyes. See, he's
And
got
the teeth are
eyes.
just, and all these little. Look at all this. I don't even like this thing was just like all white. And how do you get all of this to like to
The
stand out? Like
details
the
are crazy.
details. Look at this.
With a lot of work,
How do you
a lot
even
of
do
time.
that? Crazy. So thank you so much, Greg. Oh god, I love it so much. I'm gonna hang him. And he sent me this really cool. So he hangs them on like these computer monitor stands. So like it just hooks like right in the bathroom. It's
Oh,
a heavy
okay,
duty
okay.
stand. Yeah. So right
That's
now I
fun.
have him on the stand with just like super strong and
Nice.
all that. So he's hanging out there now until I hang him up on the wall somewhere.
Wow, that's awesome.
So this is my very exciting box day for this month. And I definitely going to do a video about him soon because I definitely want to highlight this amazing piece he did for me.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
So I will pass it on down to you, Jonathan, down to Southern California.
South Carolina. What?
I do declare.
Yeah, I just happened to
wow.
move there like a week ago. You didn't know?
I don't know
So,
what I'm doing.
hello everybody. I'm happy to be here. Pinch hitting for John, who can't be here today. So, my first show and tell item is something that I have here with me, and it's something I got recently on my trip to Palm Springs to visit David and Keith.
Oh.
And I'm proud to show it off in person. This thing is heavy, by the way. My very own KOC
Wow.
reissue of the Godzilla 1964. I mean, David did a number on this thing, and in a very, very good way. Now look at those details of look at the eye, right? Look at the shading. Now I told him I didn't have much to say. I said, just do what you do, David, because I trust you. Just make it look like a natural color, like
Beautiful.
the movie. But I did
Yes.
request because I do like this a little more. I did request him to do a little more white in the bone white on the spines. So he did perfectly. Did exactly what I wanted. And this thing is incredible. I wouldn't have had it any other way. Coming from David. Thank you very much, David, for this paint job. Thank you, Ibiraki, for the reissue of this. This thing is heavy. I have it on my. It's so heavy that because of the earthquakes, I have it sitting safely on top of my subwoofer, which is
Good
only
idea.
a couple feet off the ground.
Mm.
But that thing is heavy enough that can handle it. And I've got it sandwiched in between my display cases so that if anything were to happen, it would just be going side to side.
Mm.
Did we
Now
talk
I do
about
have.
this?
We did.
Did we tell you not to do that crap and you did it anyway?
What are you talking about?
We told you, don't put it on a subwoofer. We told
No, wait, no, that's not true. Because Leslie, if you saw my subwoofer and you felt it, this thing is like a rock. It's super sturdy, and it's only a few feet off the ground.
Who made
Trust
it,
me.
Jesus?
And like I said, where I have it positioned, it's the tail hits the wall, and it's literally like inches away from my entertainment stand, my entertainment center, and my display case. So if anything were to happen, it would just go like this.
Jonathan never turns the volume up loud enough to shake the Godzilla off the subwoofer.
That's true. That's true. Well, here's the thing. That's the thing. I live in a very small, tightly knit community. So when I have to turn it way down because the first time I ever tried it, it shook. No joke. I put -1 on, and I was I had very much underestimated when he roars for the first time.
Oh my
I had to turn
god.
it way down because it literally shook the entire place. And I remember Janelle coming out and be like, "The hell was that?" And I kind of look and I see lights sort of turning. I was like, "Oh,
Oh
geez."
my god.
So no joke, I had to turn it way down. So I was like, "Okay, I have to have this at a decent volume." So I can't really do what I want with it, but it's okay because I have a. It was a perfect spot for it. Pretty much the only spot I could put it. So I'm really happy. Thank you, David, for that.
Oh my God, my pleasure. Fun fact about these reissues, Jonathan. I didn't even tell you this. The magnets are so much stronger than they were in the original one. Like you really have to like work to get the head off.
Wow.
Like that ain't coming off anytime soon. Just
the
be
magnets
careful.
on them are very
super strong.
They're strong because I was kind of worried when I was trying to take the head off because I try to be careful with it, and then it was like I was like, oh God, thank God it didn't break. But
it's really
you
heavy.
really have to be careful.
And I actually did. I just finished another one in between yours, and then I just finished another one for a good friend of mine, Rob. And I tried to put my head on his body just to see what the paint. It wouldn't fit on there, so they're all slightly different. And I think I have 2 more lined up to do. So I'm still doing. I'm in my 64 KOC era still. I haven't left that yet. But thank you. I'm glad 2 of you guys have one of them. That makes me happy. And I think I'm going to do one for Lauren Petrillo because he needs one too. Butch.
Nice. Yeah.
He just hit me up. So I think maybe 3 more to go. But I'm taking a hiatus. I'm doing my own stuff now. So I'm working on my own stuff. So
good for you.
There's that.
Good for you.
Cool.
That's not the only thing though. I have one more thing, and it's coincidentally from the same trip.
Oh,
David,
right.
you'll know what this is.
I do.
If you look behind me, it's a little small. I didn't want to take it off the frame, but I do have pictures that I shared with Kyle. When I went to Palm Springs, David and Keith one night took us to the Shag store, with Shag known for his famous mid-century art style of famous movies. He does references to movies and film and TV and all these other things in his original works. But he did have a few Godzilla pieces there. One of them being the one that David and Keith have up on their wall is another variant of it. But then David asked, "Do you have another one?" And they said, "Actually, we do in the back."
We do. It's in the back.
It was framed.
Yep.
Yeah, it was framed. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, at first I was kind of like, I don't know. And we kind of looked at each other and David was like, "Well, think about it. Stew over it, over the weekend."
Wow,
so the long weekend, I kind of thought about it. And I said, I got to have this. And even Janelle agreed. She was like, "Yeah, that's a piece that I would even love to have hung up." So really? I pulled the trigger and I'm so happy. I couldn't be happier because I love his art and I love the style of it in general. And it's kind of funny because Janelle joked. She's like, "Yeah, I'm the one in bed and you're the one shielding him."
I was just going to say that.
It kind of makes sense. We're at the Godzilla hotel.
You just have to have Shag do your hair sort of the grayish color, and that's it. That's you right there. And when I first saw this, I thought it was the Gracery Hotel in Shinjuku.
That's
right. And I'm like, wait, no, it's not really, but maybe it's based on that. It looks like it's a Daisenso.
I like it,
doesn't it? Like a 65. Like
it does, and I like that. I love that it has a Showa look to it. I really appreciate
and also,
that. It makes it look more classic.
Jonathan, at the Shag Gallery, there's only 3 Godzilla art pieces. We have one of them. There's one that has Godzilla fighting natives on Easter Island with the big heads there, and then that's the third one.
Wow.
So there's 3 pieces that he's done of Shag Store. Sounds exciting. Oh, it's not that kind of Shag, but maybe in the back room. I don't know. But I'm so glad you got it. I'm so glad you decided to get it.
Absolutely, and I'm so happy that you guys healthily encouraged me to do my thinking on it, because sometimes I just say, I can't do it. No, I'm not going to do it. But I really had to think about it because I was like, that's something missing in our place in general. Like we have some artwork up here, actually 2 of them being David's right up there. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. That's all I can say about my show and tell. Christine, I got to say one thing. You kind of inspired me about this because you showed your Bandai off the little Godzilla. When I first started collecting, this is like when I first moved out to LA. I went to Little Tokyo for the first time, and I went to, Jungle, as it was called. It was called Anime Jungle at the time. It was literally called Anime Jungle. They've since kind of adjusted the name, but They had a little corner. It wasn't what people know of it as two stores. It was a little corner store, and I went in there, and they had a bunch of Godzilla stuff in one corner, and they had these Bandai's with the tags. They were like early to mid 2000 figures, and they had the Titanosaurus, the Mechagodzilla 2, and they had a few other ones. They had the King Caesar, and I bought all three of them. And I gotta say, after thinking back, because I had since sold them, it was a long time ago when I started doing the SH Monster Arts, when I kind of got on that train. Now that I think about it, I miss those. Because I gotta say, they were perfectly detailed. They were small, and they were cheaper, but the detail was perfect. The Mechagodzilla had rust on it. Like, it looked more
cool.
It had like a more realistic sort of photogenic tone to it. And so did the Titanosaurus. And the King Caesar was a little more of the basic, like, wash color, but those two figures, coincidentally from Terror of Mechagodzilla, they look the best to me. And I kind of miss having those in my collection. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should go back and see if I can find those. Probably going to be super expensive.
Or
hey, it's worth a shot. So anyway, that's all I have. Kyle, let's take it up to you.
All right. Well, aside from Showa and telling my baby face here, I did actually get a couple of cool items over the past month. I'll start with, as I showed off, and actually, what should I do? First thing I should do this chronologically, I think, right? So, like, first and foremost, I met up with Frank, who lives down in the Yokohama-Yokosuka area. So not too far away. He used to live in Sasebo, which is like way further south where Rodan attacked.
That's right.
And basically when Octeel's UFO Godzilla from Mondo was released, David helped me get the first release, and I was stoked to have it. But it was it was mostly like, I need to have it kind of thing, and it was the first one that came out. Then almost immediately, the Godzilla store released this cool pink version.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
And this is a little more my flair, my style within my collection. And so Frank wanted the original one. I wanted this one. So Frank and I did a trade. And we went out. I went down to go hang out with him. Lady Kyle and I went and had lunch with him and his family. And we went and saw their house. And he drove us all around and drove us all the way back up to Kawasaki, which was really awesome. So huge shout out to Frank, and big thanks to him for the trade, because this guy does look really cool. Also, this vinyl is UV reactive, doesn't glow, but when I put it up with the lights, that like pink, neon pink, really just glows. So love that very much. And it was great to hang out with Frank. Frank's a cool dude. There he is, right there. What's up, brother? And yeah, he's off to a toy show today.
Nice.
But like I said before, he went to the Odaiba Godzilla store. He posted about that in our group.
Awesome.
And I'm hoping to follow in his footsteps on Thursday with Greg Coggin when we hang out and go to Odaiba for the Godzilla store. I think we're also going to go to this thing called Small Worlds. Anyway, that's far away from what I'm talking about right now. The next thing I wanted to say is that if I'm going chronologically, on March 3rd here in Japan, that's when the Yu wa Narishi Nippon ne, which is a TV show, had the episode with Octeel and myself. And I tell you what I cannot do is I cannot share video, because that will take down our stream. But I will present a few key screenshots here. So if you were able to watch it, we're sort of like, I feel like we're about 3/4 of the way into the program, and it's like a 20-minute segment, including 10 minutes of commercials.
Is it on YouTube?
No, unfortunately, they don't have them on YouTube, and because of the copyright bots, I can't put any video up on our channel or anything. So but here's them accosting him in I think Ueno, and talking to him about his love for toys. And that's us
shot.
meeting up before
there's the beard.
before we go
Where's the
see.
beard?
Right, yeah, there, yeah. I miss you, beard. Yeah. And yeah, there's Goto-san in his studio.
That's amazing.
That's us
Wow.
watching, and that it was a
Cool.
big thrill to be able to go see Goto. I mean, like really huge thrill.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm really super stoked.
Congrats, man. That's
Very
Exciting.
happy that I was able to tag along, and major
Oh,
props,
yeah.
major shout out, and major love to Octil for having me along, and also the big props to the camera crew of that TV show. Why Did You Come to Japan? Because they did a fantastic presentation. Neither of us looked like idiots, and they gave Goto a lot of respect. And one of the cool things that they did, which I didn't even know about until the broadcast, if you look at when I showed those pictures, there might have been two guys down in the corner, right? Two Japanese guys. So it's a very typical Japanese thing where you have like a reaction shot down in the corner, and those two guys are a comedic duo called Banana Man, and they're very famous here in Japan, and they're basically sort of like the MCs of that show, and they say funny things and react and do the whole like during the episodes. And the TV crew, unbeknownst to me at least, brought with them two little figurines of Banana Man, of the figures of the characters, and then they had Goto paint them. And I think you can enter a giveaway on their website to get the figures of the painted Banana Man guys. And I was like, that is so rad and so cool that they like added that to the itinerary, as it were. So really fun experience.
That's cool.
I have watched the show. I've watched a lot of that show, and there are sometimes foreigners come over and they do not present themselves well, and they get made fun of. So I mean, many times deservedly. But yeah, we looked pretty good on screen. So moving right along, when I came back from the hospital, I was very happy to get a surprise package from our good friend Mr. Nick Sides. And let me just go ahead and say, I'm 51, and when I was a teenager, I wasn't into Godzilla. I was into skateboarding, and I was a big skater when I lived in Japan and when I lived in Hong Kong, and then I jacked up my ankle and found it very difficult to skateboard. But when Santa Cruz and Godzilla announced the collaboration last year, I was like, oh my God, that's so rad, because the artwork was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They had such a crazy amount of designs out there that I really wanted one. But at the same time, I'm like, A, they're not cheap, and B, where am I going to put a skateboard when I'm not going to be riding it? And so Mr. Nick Sides was awesome enough to send me the Tech Deck set, which is like, seriously, it's not even the next best thing to have in the actual decks. It's better for me to have these than the
all
decks,
of them,
because
right?
yeah, I think it's all of
designs?
them. Even if it's not all of them, it's a total of 6.
That's awesome.
And they're big enough so that you could have like here, hang on a second. You guys, first up, you can see the Shogun Warriors Godzilla here.
Oh my God.
Showing off his little Shin Godzilla, right? Yes, Shin Godzilla deck.
Retro a-go-go right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right in line with your costumed figure. And of course you guys know the Shay Godzilla, right? Like, do you think he's doing the Shay dance? Oh, damn. Oh, something just fell. You think he's doing the Shay Godzilla dance, but actually, guys, he's doing a wicked kickflip. So,
oh my God.
I love these things. I love these things. So
Nick
thank
is
you so much to Nick Sides. Really appreciate that. And now I'm gonna very carefully reach over and get the thing that just dropped because I was clumsy. Let me just kind of pardon me. Okay, still connected, everything good? Okay, so several years ago, during the pandemic, maybe we could have a little bit of conversation on this one too. I think would be nice. But during the pandemic, we saw a lot of figures, and before too, saw a lot of figures come out at Wonder Festival and Designer Con through Medicom. And Medicom still does stuff, right? They're really famous right now for doing these lottery figures that we can't seem to get a hold of. Some of us can't get a hold of. But that, I don't know why they started doing the lotteries necessarily, but that seems to be the direction they've taken. Before they started doing the lotteries, they had figures and releases at Wonder Festival and Designer Con, and so many that they would actually have like a giant, almost like an order sheet. And you'd walk up to this is all based off of information I've gleaned from other people because I've never seen these Medicom displays in person. But you'd walk up to the booth and say, I want number 15 and number 22 and blah, blah, blah. And I was expecting them to be at Wonder Festival in 2022 when I first was able to go, and they were not there, or 23 or whatever it was. So when they 23. And I was a little disappointed because I really liked their releases. I liked what they were doing and reissuing things like the Godzilla Vinyl Wars line. I thought was very cool. Gave people a lot of opportunities to get some harder to find sculpts and some new colorways, sometimes some retro colorways. And they had some new sculpts that they did, and even older stuff like Pilot Ace figures. I always was hoping that they would bring in the Godzilla line to the Pilot Ace reissues. But like I got myself one of the Pilot Ace Harryhausen dragons from was it Jason and the Argonauts?
No, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Oh, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Thank you. Anyway, I actually knew David would know the right answer there. So anyway, I'm very happy that they put out stuff that they did, but I was kind of bummed that they stopped doing it. Anyway, one of the things that they did is they created sculpts of soft vinyl toys based off of classic retro figures. Like you can get the die-cast Bullmark Gigan, but reimagined as a Sophobie, and I have that down there. You can't really see them, but I also have, they did a Shogun Warriors Godzilla and a sort of Heisei style Shogun Warriors Godzilla. And then they did the Shogun Warriors Rodan as a Sophobie.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this, shout out to Josh Rizzo in our group and in our marketplace who posted this, which I thought was an extremely reasonable price. He was willing to ship it to Japan. And this is now representation of the Shogun Warriors Rodan that I have in my collection because I don't have the original one in my collection anymore. But this guy is a beaut, and I love this guy.
Good.
Yeah,
That's cool. Absolutely.
Wow.
Okay, that's my Showa and Tell.
Good stuff.
Except the last thing I wanted to mention is that check out Donnie Winter's YouTube channel tomorrow at 4 tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, because my segment of Growing Up with Godzilla will be streamed at that time. So
I love his Growing Up with Godzilla series.
yeah, Donnie does a great job.
I did one too. They're fun.
Yeah, I think Christine did one as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very honored to have been asked to be on the show with Donnie, and I think he said it's a good conversation, but I talk about me a whole lot, so I'm a little like trepidatious.
Well, that's the
but,
idea.
Definitely.
How you grew up.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I know, but it feels so weird. Anyway,
no, it's gonna be good. I can't wait to see
We want to know your story.
I gotta say,
if you want to know my story, you should go watch it tomorrow.
That series is incredible. It's something that I feel like is a dream for a lot of Godzilla fans, because something that I really love talking about with people is how one first got into this and how and it brings me back those trigger memories to when I was a kid.
Yep.
And all these memories flood back, and it's just such a joy to talk about with others. And I'm glad that Donnie has a platform out there like he does for so many other beautiful things that he has going on for the fans for that reason. And I really hope he continues it. And I know he will because it's such a successful series. We have so many great people on it. David has been on there included. Christine, you've been on there as well, I believe. Now Kyle, like
Leslie
amazing.
and John
Just
and Jonathan
amazing.
have to get on next. And
I know. I would love it. I mean, I love his stuff. I love his work.
He has mentioned to me that he wants to do all of the co-hosts at some point. And Kyle can probably agree with this, and Christine too. It's not all about collecting; it's about you and how you got started, like Jonathan was saying. So you learn something, you remember something that's like, wait a minute, So
very little of it was about collecting.
It's very little about collecting.
It was a whole lot about like my journey, and that's sort of like exactly what you guys are saying. That is,
he's got a great ability to sort of like separate it from the adult collector and go back to when you were a kid and the memories you have and everything. So I think that series should be celebrated, and I want to see Leslie and Jonathan and John Ruffin on it too, because it's kind of important too, because he's a member of the LGBTQ plus, I can't even say my own community, and he puts a positive message of inclusivity out there in a time where that's really not the case everywhere. So anybody who if you want to go on it, I'm sure he would like to have you on it too if you're a collector and you have memories of your childhood collecting. It's just a lot of fun and positive, and we should definitely celebrate it for sure.
Absolutely. Well,
Helmy asked, what time is that on in Japan tomorrow?
Is he in Japan
like
again?
No, but Helmy is in. He's asking for me.
I was asking for you. Okay.
But Helmy is only like an hour or two away from me, time zone wise, where he lives in Melbourne. So.
Is it?
Yeah. So, but yeah, the broadcast I believe is like maybe 4 a.m. or something like that. So.
Oh wow!
But it's
pre-recorded.
It's pre-recorded,
so you don't have to watch it at that specific time.
So bonus. I don't have. Yeah, bonus. It's pre-recorded. Bonus 7 a.m. He says.
Yeah.
No, 7 a.m. is 8 a.m. here.
You can watch it at your convenience.
Or 7 a.m. is 3 p.m.
It's not live.
It's
so it
1
really
p.m.
matter.
Pacific. So it's anyway. Yeah, it's not.
Awesome.
Yeah, but regardless. The beard will be on Donnie's podcast.
Oh, good. We can visit our friend the beard.
Exactly.
Yes, the beard will be back.
The beard will be back.
Only in memories now.
Okay. Leslie's got his face in his hand. I think it's time for us to move on exactly and move past the Showa Intel and go into our chat room check-in, because we do have 37 people watching this train wreck. and I'm going to ask Leslie.
Down now, dang.
The train wrecks are the best shows. I think our train wreck shows are the best shows. I think so.
All right, is Leslie ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Oh God. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, trust me, in this day and age, we all need all the laughs we can get, honestly. But
yes, we do.
All right, so let's go through the chat room check-in real fast. Flying through like Rodan. Okay, we got Johnny K, Michael Hain, Nathaniel Plummer, Larry Latham, Helmy, what's up? Robert D, Mark Rodriguez, Ray2D2, Gojira 91. Joey Chapman, David Partridge, Tim Bartos, Robert DeCenzo. Let's see. Okay. Arturo Martinez, Kaiju Battle. What's up, Michael?
What's up, Mike?
Let's see who else. Your mama, Christine, Diane Shaker. Your mama in the chat. Of course, GMK Lover. We all know who that is. What's up, babe?
Oh, who could that be?
Let's see, Mike's Monsters. He's in the chat. Of course, Fancies of Cats, Jim Gala or Gala. Let's see, the Greg Zilla, Greg F. Of course, Greg Betters. What's up, man?
Hey, Greg. Thank you.
Did your thing on that one, my man.
Tom Whalen.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what? Why?
Oh
Why?
no.
What did I do now?
That was a while ago. That comment.
That was out of context. That was out of context.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were talking
What did
about.
I say? I can't even imagine me saying something controversial or against
Oh,
the
no.
Yeah, when was the last time you've done that?
Never.
Never.
Let's see. E.S. Kimura.
Oh, what's up, Shannon?
Alcosaurus. Albert Escobedo. Let's see who else. Balton 0080. Collect all monsters. Hey, Jokers, whatever.
Hey.
Frank. It just says Frank. Lots of people in here. Who else? You still see the same people. Mark Rodriguez, Helmy, and the usual suspects. And Matt. And let's see, Tybug T Rob, I believe, or Tybug 1 Rob. And that is it. I was keeping the tab on the chat, and at the most we had like 57 or 58 people. So thank you so much for being here.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
It's
You
nice to
deserve
see
a clap for that.
Yeah, it's nice to see that you're. He deserves
Some appreciation.
He deserves it. Some appreciation for Titano. So
there you go.
But that's it with the chat room check-in. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Woo!
All right. So, what we always do after the chat room check-in is go straight into the Kaiju collectible news. Take it away, Leslie Chambers.
You know what? It's kind of like a reoccurring thing with me. Again, you saw Kaiju from Galloping Ghost earlier. Last month in my news segment, I talked about the Galloping Ghost resin model kit of Godzilla.
Yeah.
And now I did tease on that show that he was going to do the Heisei Offspring of Godzilla for the 1995 movie. And here it is, a full painted 30 centimeter resin model kit. Christine of Godzilla Jr.
He's so cute. Finally. Gosh.
That thing looks so great. You know what I'm saying? If you want one, hit up Doc Mac on Facebook, or hit up the Galloping Ghost Kaiju Kobo website, or hit them up on their Facebook page. But this thing is 30 centimeters. So he will pair well if you have, let's say, the S Plus Gigantic Series Burning Godzilla. Or if you have the favorite sculptors line, Aggregate Destroyer, he should pair well with him. Also, on top of that, he's not only doing a 30 centimeter, he also plans to do at some point a 17 centimeter one. So if you have a 30 centimeter Burning Godzilla, he should pair well with him. Or if you have the favorite sculptors line Destroyer, he should pair well with that, for the 17 centimeter. But to be honest, you have to thank me for this, to be honest with you. Because I was talking with Doc, and he was asking me, he not asking me, but we were talking about, stuff back and forth. And I asked him, was there anything, new coming up? That's when I found out about the Godzillasaurus, right? And I floated it out there because he told me about a Shimu kit that he's working on. But I floated the idea out there to him. I was like, look, if you could do a Junior, like a realistic, good size version of Junior, especially this year when he turns 30 this year.
Oh my God.
And honestly, there are not too many representations of Junior out there. There's Bandai,
there's none, really.
There's hardly any.
Hardly any. You know what I'm saying? At least hardly any from S Plus. They've done Minya, Little Godzilla, but it seems like, why? Why is Junior not heavily represented? Or at least why haven't we seen anything involving Junior being celebrated this year? But have no fear, Galloping Ghost is here. And if you want this kit, hit up Doc Mac on Facebook, or again, hit up the Galloping Ghost Kaiju Kobo website, or their Facebook page, their Facebook business page, and get you this Godzilla Jr. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to get one. I'm going to get the 30 centimeter one. I'm not going to really care about the 17 centimeter one. But this one right here, I can't wait to put up against the Gigantic 95 and the Aggregate Former Destroyer. You know what I'm saying? And also, I'm going to give a little tease of 3 more kits that he's working on. It's a mild tease, but one monster is long overdue that should have got recognized last year, but didn't. And 2 more monsters. There are let's say they took a trip to Planet X. That's what I'm gonna say about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All
Just
right.
saying. So be on the lookout for Galloping Ghosts. They're coming out with some great stuff, you know, and Junior is pretty much the start of that. So I can't wait to get that in my collection. So with that being said, David Dopko, what do you want to talk about in your new segment?
Well, I want to talk about where are you putting these big ass model kits, Leslie? I don't understand. Please make me understand. I'm seeing it's getting more crowded behind you, but Kaiju conundrums, collecting conundrums, like I don't know where you put the stuff. Do you have like a spare attic that you put the stuff in, or please illuminate me?
I got a refrigerator that I'm not using.
A refrigerator?
Yeah, I put them in the refrigerator, you know, I mean.
Anyway.
Because by me buying all this stuff, I can only afford ramen. So the refrigerator, you know, is good for something. So I gotta put, you know.
I don't know, because model kits take up a lot of space, and this thing is big, and you've got some ginormous resin pieces in your collection. I don't know how you. Thank God you don't live in California. But anyway,
tell me about it.
All right, so let's see. So Leslie didn't do an X Plus this month, so I'm going to take the X Plus reins and talk about something. Kyle, you've got the image there. Of course, I had to pick this. It's the Toho Kaiju War series, the new series, Godzilla 1954 Legacy Maquette, of course, by X Plus, and it's just pretty cool. And they're actually kind of small. They're about 17 centimeters, which translates to about just under 7 inches tall. So they're not going to be shelf hogs, and this is the first release in the series. They also did a 1954 Godzilla, the actual Godzilla Showa Godzilla from the film, the shrunk down version of the gigantic Favorite Sculptors release. So those are available to pre-order right now. You can get it from X Plus USA. You can get it from Big Bad Toy Store. The good thing about Big Bad Toy Store is where I buy a lot of my things from. You don't have to pay up front. You pay when the actual item arrives. So if you like to do it that way, just wanted to put that out for you guys. They're really good with shipping, and as soon as it comes out, you get it like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. As you all know, I think I talked to G Akamoto about this like a long time ago. Why don't you do a maquette version of Godzilla? They did in 1998. They did a series of 3 or 4 of them. And on the little base, like the clay sculptures holding the girl in his hand.
Yeah.
And I actually have the glow in the dark one with the crocodile skin, which is pretty rare. But yep, the crocodile version. That's right. That's
the blue one.
Anyway, it's going to look great in your collections if you're a fan of the maquette. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm looking forward to the series, and hopefully they'll do like every Godzilla. Wouldn't that be great if it did?
Oh, that would be awesome.
In that scale, because the price point is pretty good. I didn't put the price down, but it's under $100 for this for sure.
Can't beat that.
Like you can't beat it, and you can fit them into your collection, and it's a good way to beef up your Godzilla collection.
So like 7 inches, you said, right? So they're good,
they're just under 7 inches, so they're about like kind of Bandai size, right?
Nice.
And with a lot of detail. Wow. So I'm looking forward to see how they are in person, and they'll be easy to take out on photo safaris. And I did want to mention a segue from Kyle talking about Nick sending him those skateboard pieces. Nick was here last weekend or the weekend before, and he brought a bunch of figures, and we did a toy photo safari in Palm Springs. We had so much fun. And Nick is such a badass. He was carrying his TIG toy under his arm, like right down the main strip in Palm Springs. And people, you know, it's kind of a chick magnet. A lot of people are asking him what you got under your arm, kind of thing. And if not a chick magnet, a conversation piece.
Right.
And he has no fear. Like I kind of like put mine like on the slide, like in the bag, and he's got his like run under his arms, like walking down the street with it. But bringing it into shops, it's just a lot of fun. But anyway, Nick is the man, and
he was naked in your pool. Talk about that.
Leslie, he was not naked in the pool. He had it's not that kind of pool. No. So he had pants on. But anyway, I don't know how we ended up there, but we did. And I'm gonna just quickly pass it over down to Christine. Christine, yeah, Nick's great.
Yeah, Nick
Christine,
is awesome.
what do you got for us? Let's get rid of this conversation.
All right, so we've got some exciting stuff coming from Otaku America. I'm really excited for it. So it's the Monster Island mini kaiju playset, and I think this is such a great idea. So the figures don't come with it; it's just the playset itself. But so the playset is like $75, and it's releasing the end of this month. It's supposed to be shipping out. But how much fun is this? So if you have your minifigures, like I have a mini Bullmark Gigan, so I can just fit him right in on there. And you can buy the minifigures. You can buy the mini kaiju also from Otaku America. But
they have the figures too for sale because when I saw this for $75 with all the figures on there, I was almost ready to press the button, and I'm like, I got to read this stuff more carefully.
Yeah,
figures not included. And the funny thing about this is, when I was a little boy, at Christmas, they had a dinosaur play set that came with dinosaurs and a very. I'll show a picture in the group, and it had all the little dinosaurs and cavemen in that same kind of position these monsters are. And I love that it's totally retro, but yes, it does not come with the figures.
Yeah, no, so you gotta bring your own figures. Yes. I mean, I have it like if you have the US toys, like the US toy figures are tiny, but you can buy. I mean, there's so many of the Marugachas that Marasan does. Like those will fit in there. Pretty much anything, but I think it's so fun, and I love like the retro colorway. It's just a really fun way to display your small figures. So I'm really excited to check this out when it comes in. And I definitely want to get, because I'm going to get one. I want to get some more. I have my little Gigan. So I want to get some more of these now. I might stick my US toys on there too. But I mean, how much fun is this? Yeah. Like tiny me, little tiny 6-year-old me would have been nuts for this thing. I'm going nuts right now. So I think it was painted by Death Rattle Effects. So they're all hand painted. So it's made, it's hand painted. Yes, you don't even have to use it for kaiju toys. You can use it for anything. Yeah, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
All the good stuff.
Star Wars. You can do Star Wars figures on there.
Yeah.
Try again.
It totally reminds me of like the sculpting on the Castle Grayskull from Master of the Universe when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone here actually mentioned that, and I was thinking the same thing, Kyle, because like I had that play set. It's really retro. I love it.
Yeah, and
I mean,
awesome.
It literally looks like the prehistoric playset. I mean, Grayskull too, but like very that's cool. How our age difference is. Like,
yeah.
I'm a little
very
bit
cool.
before the He-Man generation. And,
I did have the one where the plastic mat, like map almost, and then the little plastic volcanoes that you put down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it came with the mat, and it had little water sections on there.
Yeah,
and it had the caveman holding the rock up, like at the very top, throwing the rock down. It's so great. Cool. It's a great idea, and those guys are great. And I'm glad to see them putting out their own products now. It's kind of fun.
Yes, it's very nostalgic, and they're gonna have more stuff coming soon. So they're only gonna be adding more to their figures that they have coming out, which is really exciting. So otakuamerica.com, $75. You could pre-order this. It'll be shipping end of this month, and I think it's a really great way and a fun way to display any of your minifigures, kaiju or non-kaiju.
Sure is.
Absolutely.
Leslie, your model kits won't fit in there. Sorry.
We'll have to make a giant one. I find having a giant room that looks like this thing. How fun would that be?
Sorry about
it. Talk about a man cave.
All right.
Yes, a kaiju cave. All right, Jonathan, what you got for your news for us today? March 16th, 17th.
Okay.
What is today? I don't even know.
It's the 15th.
Oh, the 15th, yeah.
15th, there you go. 15th.
Jesus
I almost
Christ.
forgot myself. All right, Leslie said, throw it down. Well, for my news item, I've got something from CCP, actually. So without further ado, we're going to introduce a Gamera Midsize Series Volume 4.
Okay.
Retro black versions. So these... Nice. I know, right? So these come in 13 centimeters tall, 10 centimeters tall for the Giron, So the set comes with Gamera 96, Gamera 99, Giron 69, and Gaios 95. I think these are pretty cool. I mean, I just ordered some CCP items from Big Bad Toy Store. Now those items, I didn't see these specifically on there, although I did see some other versions of these, like earlier colorways on Big Bad Toy Store. But with these ones, they are now ready up for pre-order at select retailers. This news comes, of course, from kaijubattle.net. So make sure to check out kaijubattle.net for all your kaiju collectible news. We surely appreciate Michael's efforts. So yeah, and these are going to be retailing for about 5,280 yen each. So not too bad. Not too bad. And here we've got a few pictures.
I like to
share here.
The mid-size series is so nice.
This is kind of like the shoddy like Google Translate of, but you basically get an idea of what. Lala, right? Lala. Thank you, Google Translate, I guess. But in here, yeah, we got close-ups of Gamera 96. I mean, if you guys know me, I love I kind of got started with my Sofubi journey with the black vinyl with the metallic
that was
blue
your color
kind of color spray. So I appreciate these a lot. I don't know if I'll get them. I do like the size though. So maybe I'll dabble. I don't have a lot of Gamera in my collection. I really love the sculpts on these. The Gamera 99. I really like this Giron. Giron is very cool. I love the pink. I love the yellow in the eyes, everything about it. And then we have the Gauss 95. Pretty cool. I mean, I love the pink and purple hues in there. Really, really interesting. I love stuff like this. So yeah, make sure to be on the lookout for this set. It's pretty cool.
Excellent.
And without further ado, I guess we go down to you, Kyle, right?
That's me.
That's you.
CCP killing it with the mid-size stuff.
Really? Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of glad that they're continuing to do new sculpts, because last year, that last calendar year, they really hammered me hard with the GMKs, and so I have like a full lineup now, and I'm definitely looking forward to more in the future. But yeah, I'm glad they're continuing to make more of these, because they're really affordable. They're really imaginative in their color use and stuff like that. So yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff out there with the CCP midsize line. Yeah.
Yeah,
and they're everywhere. You can get them all over the place here. They're really fun stuff. So, okay.
Speaking of which, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of which, my news item comes in Dateline, Tokyo, just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me with this one.
Okay. There's a toy company called Strange Gallery. They're out of Taiwan, and they do really great sculpts. They actually, and they're not massive, so they're not tiny. They're not as small as the CCP midline size, but they're sizable, but not too gigantic. And this is the newest sculpt that's coming out. The first time they've done Godzilla, I believe. And this is, of course, the Mosugoji. This is in conjunction with Hakuba Gallery, which is the Graveyard Gallery shop in Nakano Broadway. Those guys just became like the official partner distribution company for Bullmark here, which is pretty impressive and fun.
That is so cool. I love that little guy.
But Strange Gallery originally had this on display at Wonder Festival last summer.
Oh, you saw
Go
it?
ahead. And this is
it's a prototype.
for that. This is the prototype. They've got a couple of pictures of this where all they had was the sort of like gray version. I think it was even resin at the time. So I was interested in it, and then I found out it was resin, and I was like, nah, I don't need to get into that stuff. But I really loved the sculpt, and I didn't realize it was Strange Gallery at the time. Fast forward to a few months ago, and it was on display outside of the Hakuba Gallery in their sort of like Nakano Broadway display.
So cute.
And that's when I knew. I was like, I got to keep an eye on this. So this is, of course, the figure. It comes with a detachable Mothra. The scale, I don't know if I have the scale of this figure.
Oh my god.
But
I want that so bad.
It's so freaking
17
cute.
centimeters tall. The Mothra is a detachable. You could put it on the tail. It's retailing right now for 22,000 yen. 22,000 yen is going to be approximately like $175, I think.
Yeah.
And now that's here in Japan. But you can use the Hakuba Gallery website to buy things in America, but they have their own like third-party shipper called World Ship.
No. See, that's where you lose me.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
it's easy. It's easy, David.
Is it easy? Well, you can help me.
All right, yeah, because I put an order in.
So 17 centimeters, Kyle. It's just about the same size. It's about 7 inches, same size as the X Plus.
okay, yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So like, about like a 7-inch tall figure.
So is that
Something like that.
Parababy? Is that Parababy size, pretty much?
I think it's bigger than
bigger?
somebody
Little
do the
bigger?
math for me there.
Maybe still like 6, aren't they?
It's cute as hell. It really is cute as hell.
It is adorable. I love the I love the colors.
6.69 inches
Okay,
is
so
what 17 centimeters is.
Oh, like a Bandai then, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So not gigantic, not tiny.
I
But
love it.
nice size. Strange Gallery, absolutely killing it, Frank. You're right. There is actually another company. I wish I had taken a note of that. There's another company that you could buy these through, and I think they are. I think they're at least selling to the Americas. So
Okay.
if I could find that link, I'll pop it in the chat later.
Excellent.
But yeah, definitely. It's out there. It's available. And actually, if you're going to, I don't know about the secondary company, but if you are going to be purchasing it through Hakuba Gallery, it is only for sale for like another week. March 24th is when the orders are stopping, and it's scheduled to ship in July, mid-July. So there you go. That's
I
my
love it.
news item.
Great
I
news
think
item.
that thing's awesome. I hope to see more colorways of that in the future as well, because it's such a fun,
So cool.
fun sculpt.
It really is. A glowy. How about a glowy?
I'm always down for a glowy. You know that, man.
I do.
Glitter.
Okay. So,
Nice.
well, thank you guys for sticking around. We're already an hour and a half into the show. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief 2-minute intermission. And when we come back, we'll get into our main segment talking about Terror of Mechagodzilla. And then following that, we have our collector moment, and we're giving away actually, David, do you have that handy?
I certainly do.
So we're going to give away this beautiful Aurora Bullmark Mechagodzilla figure at the end of the broadcast. So make sure you stick around for that, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
21世紀乾杯乾杯乾杯21世紀ビールはもっと楽しくもっと自由にキリン21世紀ビール
遊びに行って帰らない。特徴はキャラコンである。そして押すと回る。ラジオコントロールで動く。あ、そう。はい、じゃあここに重曹を締め、そして母音に。キャラコンゴジラバンダイより発売中。キャラコン怪獣も続々登場。
テレビマガジン1月号すごいゴジラが火を吹く完全なりきりマスク笛にもなる核レンジャー超忍法帳かっこいいぞパチパチタートルズもこりゃ面白い核レンジャー秘密100まだまだ楽しさいっぱいだよ全員サービスはなんと核レンジャースーパービデオだテレビマガジン1月号発売中
魂を解き放てドンドンドン破壊神降臨シアゴジラドンゴジラならやってくれる
乳銀
Hey, we have returned, and thank you to Mike from Kaiju Battle, and if, of course, as you have my good friend Jonathan Portman mentioned, check out kaijubattle.net for all sorts of kaiju collectible news, way more than we could share during our news segment. But during the intermission, he posted that it was a toy art gallery, and so I thought I'd just show off real quick. This is the page. You can get this
Ooh.
175 plus
there you
shipping. So there you go. Same thing. It's order window closed was March 24th. I literally went to Toy Art Gallery. It was right there on the homepage. So there you
Excellent.
go.
Thank you so much.
Go get it, gang. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the terror of Mechagodzilla. You know, this is a movie celebrating its 50th. We got, as Leslie mentioned, we got a lot of really great anniversaries this year, and lots of great anniversaries coming up in the future as well for other things. But in addition to Terror of Mechagodzilla, Monster Zero is celebrating a big anniversary this year. Destroy is celebrating a big anniversary this year. But the 50th goes to the 1975 classic Terror of Mechagodzilla. And I just know that Leslie has some cool things to talk about. Maybe some questions. I can't remember what you're doing here, Leslie. So go ahead and take the floor, my friend.
Yeah, I love this movie. And no, I don't have any hard-hitting questions. Because I know everybody's going to talk about one specific thing that they appreciate about this film. But I have to say, you know, at first, when I first watched it, I wasn't too impressed with it. I have to be honest. And I did the foolish thing. I compared Terror to 1974, which is my favorite Mechagodzilla movie, and that wasn't fair at the time, right? And by and large, as a Godzilla fan, I'm going on 40-something years now. A lot of times, the way I feel about those films back then, I kind of feel the same way now. But Terror is one of those films where at first I didn't really particularly care for it, but now I insanely love it. And honestly, it's because of actually Kyle, the Kaiju Cast, his rediscussion of the film. That made me it made me take a look at this film in a very different perspective, in a very different light. Honestly, Kyle, I tried to look up that episode with you and Adam and I forgot Martin, or Jeff. Unfortunately, I couldn't pull it up, unfortunately. But if you could find a way to get that episode back, I would appreciate it. But it's the rediscussion, because he covered, Kyle talked about in the Kaiju Cast, they covered Terror of Mechagodzilla many years ago. But on the last few years of the Kaiju Cast, they were going back to the films that they'd done before with rediscussions. And they did one on Terror of Mechagodzilla. And Adam, who was on the show, who was a guest on the show, he talked about this film with so many big words and so much sophistication that you thought it was a high art piece. And after hearing that, and after hearing Kyle's frustration, he was like, no, you don't. No, I don't see it the way you see it. But after hearing Adam's description of this film, what it meant to him, and just so the way he eloquently put it in such a sophisticated way, a cheesy monster movie from the 70s from Japan, right? It made me go back and look at the film. And again, I have insanely been in love with this film for the longest time. I've grown to appreciate more in my adult years. And I truly believe that this, in so many ways, even though it is the final film of the Showa series, it wasn't planned to be that way. I know they try to do some things or want to get some ideas pitched after the fact and before they relaunched the series with 84. So by default, Terror of Mechagodzilla earned the distinction of being the last film, but it wasn't planned to be that way. But there's a part of me that feels that it was planned, at least by Itoshiro Honda, right? Because there are so many parallels and callbacks to the original 54 film. And it's the one Showa film that creates a lot of callbacks to the original 54 film, unlike any other Showa film, maybe with the exception of Godzilla Raids Again. Case in point, there are so many similarities and parallels. Okay, when 54 opens up, it opens with a seafaring vessel getting attacked by an underwater monster or dinosaur. In Terror of Mechagodzilla, a submarine gets attacked by an underwater monster or underwater dinosaur, right? The same guy who played the iconic Dr. Serizawa, Akihiko Harada, he plays Dr. Mifune in Terror of Mechagodzilla, right? There's a love triangle of sorts in both films. Imiko is caught between Ogata and Serizawa. In Terror of Mechagodzilla, Katsura is caught between her father and Ichinose, right? A variation of Godzilla's theme from the 54 film is used as his theme in Terror of Mechagodzilla in a heroic way, right? Both films feature Tokyo being destroyed by a Godzilla creature, the original in the first film and Mechagodzilla in Terror of Mechagodzilla, right? There's a situation where a character commits suicide in both films for the greater good of the story, right? Katsura in Terror of Mechagodzilla, Serizawa in the 54 film, right? I also read that one of the requests from Tomoyuki Tanaka, when it comes to the screenplay of this film, that he wanted Godzilla to make his first appearance in Shinagawa in Tokyo when he confronts Titanosaurus. It's not really specified that in the film, but that's what I've read, that's what he wanted. He wanted Godzilla to appear, make his first appearance, making landfall in Shinagawa. That is where the first Godzilla made landfall in Tokyo in 1954, right? And I believe that this film perfectly encapsulates what was so great about the Showa series, right? It has a darker human story, but you still have the over-the-top goofy monster action that we come to love and know from the mid-60s all the way into the 70s, right? Again, Inoshiro Honda came back for this film after being gone since Godzilla's Revenge. Ifukube came back after being gone since Destroy All Monsters. And even Kyle, when he did his episode, his rediscussion on the Kaiju cast, and he had an excerpt. I think he was talking to Ed Gojicheski, and they were talking about and Steve Rifle about the Inoshiro Honda book they were doing at the time. And even they didn't have like a good answer. Like, why did he come back? Why did Honda come back for this film out of all films after being gone since Godzilla's Revenge? Because we all know he had a falling out with Toho, whatever. But why did he come back for this film? I believe that he came back to say his goodbye to Godzilla. That was his way of saying goodbye to Godzilla, right? David Dopko mentioned earlier that Honda was not really a fan of Godzilla being this goofy superhero. That's why when you look at Terror of Mechagodzilla, it is somewhat different than the other 70s film because, again, the human story takes a darker turn. You know what I'm saying? There's murder, there's suicide, there's so many adult things that gets in the 70s films that were not in the other ones. All that is because of Honda. So in my opinion, this film really serves as a proper end to the Showa series. You know what I'm saying? Because the Showa series had a loose continuity. Some films, directly affected others, excuse me. But by and large, is the continuity in the Showa series is all over the place, right? So it's not like they can make a definitive end movie to this series, but this movie is about as close as you're going to get. So in my opinion, this movie just, again, there are so many callbacks to the 54 film, it doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. I think this was Inoshiro Honda's way of putting a bottle cap of the Showa series, saying goodbye to Godzilla, and going out on his terms. And that, to me, is the beauty of Terror of Mechagodzilla. So with that being said, I'm going to kick it over to David Dopko. How do you feel about this film?
First of all, I love what you said, and you hit a lot of key points. I remember seeing this movie when I was a kid on TV, and Henry Saperstein inserted this narrated prologue with a lot of misinformation about Godzilla, but it was still cool as hell when you're a little kid to see that prologue before it kicks into the Japanese credits where it shows scenes from Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Let's start there. So even though it was wrong, it seemed to me like in that prologue that the citizens of Planet X, the aliens from Planet X, were the ones who created Mechagodzilla. If you go back and watch it, it's very confusing and deceiving, but it's really cool. When you're a kid, you love it. So that was my first time seeing it on television, and I actually really gravitated to this movie. It was a breath of fresh air for me, who really loves the music. Like the return of Akira Ifukube was something, and him reuniting with Honda. There's something magic about that combination right there. And like Leslie said, it is a darker tone than a lot of the 70s films had. It was actually penned. It was written by a female story writer. Her name is Yukiko Takayama, and she's the only woman who wrote a entire screenplay, wrote the story for a Godzilla film, aside from another collaboration with a female writer in Son of Godzilla, and I can't recall the woman's name, but this is only the second time, and she had a big hand in the way this movie turned out. And I think that's a pretty cool little tidbit, because back then it was kind of unheard of for women to have that kind of a role in film, especially in Japan. So I'm here to talk about a couple of aspects about it. My very first G-Fest was kind of magical for many reasons. One of them was meeting all these awesome people that I'm still like really close to. Another one was the guest stars from Japan. The people who came over were two of the stars from Terror of Mechagodzilla. And I'm going to start by saying, when I got off the plane in Chicago, I was on the shuttle bus going from the airport to the Crown Plaza, and it was a very empty bus because it was a strange hour. Who gets on but Brett Hominick and Tomoko Ai and Katsuhiko Sasaki?
Wow.
Okay. Sitting literally 2 rows before me. And this, again, my first G-Fest, I was kind of tired, but I was like, oh my God. And I was trying to find a way to speak to them and be respectful, but not like diminish my enthusiasm. So
You didn't want to yell out Katsura.
No, I did not. No, but I should have. I knew I should have. Katsura. No, but I love you even though you're a cyborg. No. So what I did was I asked if I could take a photo, which was probably not a good thing to do, because she had just gotten off the plane too, and she was tired. And she said to me, "I'm sorry, not right now. We will do it later. You are going to G-Fest." I said, yes, yes, yes. And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Sumimasen, gomen nasai, whatever." And so I went about my business, went to G-Fest, and it was one of the first panels was Tomoko Ai and Katsuhiko Sasaki. And I'm sitting on the end of the row, and they were walking past me to go up to the stage. Is one of the big ballrooms. And she taps me on the shoulder, Tomoko Ai, and she goes, "It's okay to take a picture now." And I have the picture, Kyle, if you can. And I had a little Mechagodzilla in my hand.
Cute.
And so that's the picture.
Nice.
She remembered me from the bus,
Cute.
and she was all ready to do it, and she took that picture. I mean, the one of her and I was in the ballroom when I got her autograph and everything. But I thought that was the most classy thing that someone could have done to some stupid guy who was bugging her when she got off the plane, but she remembered and she snapped that. She let me snap that picture. Someone snapped the picture. I think John Bumpus took that picture actually. But again, you can see I'm blushing because I thought it was like a really magical moment, and just being there with them. And Kyle, I've got some photos of the two of them if you want to cue those up to show from my first G-Fest. There they are, Katsura and Ichinose reunited. I mean, look at how great they look, And I'm going to talk about Sasaki for a minute. Sasaki was, of course, you recognize him as Goro from Godzilla versus Megalon, right? And he also showed up in the Toho Dracula films in various roles in each film. And one of them, he was a henchman of Dracula, and totally different roles in all 3 of those films. But it was truly an honor to meet them. And I think I've got a few more photos, Kyle, if you don't mind. Oh, I just made this one. I made the little cutout of them reunited again after all these years, and it was just super special to meet them. And
love that
again. And there we are hanging out. Look at how young I look. God, I barely had a beard there. And I see
goatee, David.
That little picture too. And there we are. He was the nicest guy. His English wasn't good. Tomoko Ai's English was much better than his, but the universal language of appreciation hopefully came across, and admiration, I should say. But it was great. It was great. I do. Thanks, Nathaniel. I do also want to talk about a couple other standout actors from the film. Akihiko, I can never say his name, Hirata, as Dr. Shinzo Mifune. Kind of full circle from his role as Dr. Serizawa. They should have given him an eye patch. That would have been perfect.
Right.
But he was a standout in that film. A lot of people give him a lot of grief because they think he overacted, but I think that's exactly what we needed for Dr. Mifune in that film. And I never thought he overacted. I thought it was perfect. And a little bit of another fun fact, that was his very last Godzilla role in a Godzilla film. That was the last time that he appeared in a Godzilla film. And also, I want to give a little mention to Goro Mutsumi as Commander Mughal. Sort of reprised his role, even though he supposedly died in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Is essentially the same character, and he was a little bit more sadistic and just a great villain, a villain that you love to hate. And it was just really it was a film that I needed, because during that break between Destroy All Monsters and this film, I always thought there was something missing without Ifukube and Honda. I got to say Honda too. And as I was talking to Leslie earlier, Honda never really subscribed to Godzilla being goofy or being anthropomorphic. He was really not stoked when he did the she dance in Kaiju Daisenso, and a lot of diehard Godzilla fans think that was when Godzilla really changed from one thing to another. One could argue it happened in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, but most people think that dance was the time that it all shifted. And like Leslie said, it's very reminiscent of the original 54. It's a darker, more somber film. And, the UPA version they showed on TV severely cut it. They didn't even show Katsura committing suicide. They just showed her holding her arm. So it was very difficult for American audiences to get the true grasp of the whole entirety of the film's message. But again, it was just it's a movie that's not perfect. It has a lot of flaws. Mechagodzilla's remains were supposedly in Okinawa, and then all of a sudden they were not in Okinawa. So it's like there's you can't think about these things, but I like it, and for some reasons that I just mentioned, I actually prefer watching it. It has better watchability for me than Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, because I really do love the Ifukube back to where he needs to be in a Godzilla film. And I do think, in Leslie's post in the group yesterday, I think it was a proper send-off for the Showa series. So having said that, and I think I said too much, I'm going to pass it down to Christine and see what angle are you going to show us? I think you're going to talk about some collectibles, right?
Yeah, so I will talk about the collectibles that came out of this movie. So we really don't have a lot of options for Titanosaurus or Mechagodzilla too, because usually it's Mechagodzilla that gets most of the loving. But the very first Titanosaurus that came out was, and for a long time, the only one that was available was the Bullmark. I think that one came out in 75, I think, the little tiny guy. But I'll show off some of the ones that I have here, and then I have pictures of other ones that I don't have. So one of my all-time favorites is the Parababy Titanosaurus that comes with the little Akatsuki, the little submarine here. This is just by Masami Yamada. Such a great sculpt. There's a couple different colorways out there. Like, this is one of the best Titanosaurus Sofubi figures out there, I think.
Yeah,
and
I want the glowy.
Oh, I know, the glowy's so nice. And he comes with the Mechagodzilla 2. So this is one of the very few Mechagodzilla 2s that we have out. With, you can see his little brain there. Super fun. Yeah, so for a while there still isn't not a lot of options. We do have another marmot here. This is one of my all-time favorites. colorways, the blue. Now there's also a closed tail version, which I'm still hunting for because that's the only figure of Titanosaurus that has the closed tail. Oh wait, no, I think Bandai might have, or no, X Plus I think did one, the 25 centimeter that had.
That's
but,
right.
So really, there's only 2 closed tail Titanosauruses out there. But this is a really great addition. Like I'm hoping that we'll see some more Titanosaurus love. I know last year when Kaz was down at Monster Patrol Toys, he had some new Godzilla colorways down there, which is nice. And then we have the iconic, it's always lovely, the M1.
Love the M1.
So the M1, they have a lot of different colorways of this. This happens to be my favorite, the blue kind of green chrome kind of color. And I think this one, well, not this one that I have, but maybe there was a blank that I think came with a little mini Mechagodzilla too, as well. And then, Maru-san. Now, Maru-san has been putting out a lot more Titanosaurus colorways lately. Super happy about that. But this is always a great sculpt. And then I think it was January, I had talked about how there was a certain colorway I was looking for. And look what I happen to have.
Oh, nice.
Thanks to Jay from Toku Toy Town. He actually had one of the ones that I was looking for. So the Aurora colorways by Maru-san are just these tinsel ones. Really great. And like I love the way they do the face on his Titanosaurus with the tongue sticking out. You don't really see that a lot. And then I forgot I got this little guy too. M1 did a couple of the little babies. And this was actually a blank that I had Steve Sergioli paint for me.
Nice.
Super cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think I do have some.
Do you have any Godzillas? Do you have any of him?
Any Godzillas? Just a couple. Just a few.
But of the 75 specifically.
The 75.
Because he's the one that's not represented that.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
it's so Sofubi too. There's hardly any.
I think, it's so when I had the big lineup of X Plus Godzillas, it sort of like petered out after 1968 and 71, and like I didn't have I don't think I even had any of the 70s. Oh, I had the 73, and that was the last one from the Showa.
I'm trying to put a little bug in maybe Mondo's ear about maybe doing a little. It'd be nice to have a Titanosaurus, Terror Mechagodzilla, set. I think that'd be kind of cool. I'd love to see the way that Hector and Peter interpret Titanosaurus.
That's a great idea.
I would love to see that. So maybe hopefully someday. It'd be nice to have them do all of the kaiju. And I'm sure that's probably one of their goals.
X Plus should get the favorite sculptors line and put the MM2875 Godzilla in there. I don't know why they haven't done that yet, but that is the most perfect representation of the 75. And that's the thing. That Godzilla, for some reason, is kind of hard to get right.
It's hard to get right.
It's hard to get right. There have been some that came close, like the Billiken one. That's a good one. The X Plus 30 centimeter one, that's a good one. The 25 is straight garbage. But that MM28 kit, that one is like, it is straight perfect. And I don't know why they have not put it in the famous sculptors line yet, especially this year with this film celebrating 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
It may
got a lot of months left in the year.
Happen. Not when we want it, but it may happen. And also what I wanted to say too, and this is a perfect time to say it because we're talking about collectibles. Let's get a Toho Maniacs Katsura.
Oh yes!
Come on!
Yes, we need with humans.
Silver guard.
I think it's more realistic for them to do the aliens first because
with the helmet,
with the licensing issues with
that's
faces.
True, but
yeah,
I'm just talking.
But I don't disagree with you.
Like the perfect scenario, wouldn't you love to see a Katsura with like her arm, in the laser in her hand?
The laser,
something that would be just. Gee, come on, man. Let's do it.
Shut up, you.
I would like more collectibles. Titanosaurus is such a cool looking monster. Like I would love to have more. And I like to see sculptors different styles. So I mean, just look at the difference between the 3 that we do have out.
They're
so
all
we have
very
the
different.
Marmot. Yeah, they're different, but they're like obviously it's Titanosaurus, but like I like to see. I mean, we don't really have a lot of options.
No.
For
And-
Titanosaurus, he's very underrepresented.
And Titanosaurus as a kaiju is kind of like, I think
cool.
Leslie talked about this
That one's
in
good.
the
I
group
like that
chat, kind of goes back to like the classic 60s monsters that don't come from outer space. They're like dinosaurs, they're like terrestrial monsters. And of course we were talking about the great Kizo Murase, who designed Titanosaurus. I mean, he's
Actually,
one of the people.
Akihiko Iguchi designed Titanosaurus.
Oh, I'm sorry, fabricated it.
Murase made it.
Murase realized and fabricated the Titanosaurus. So we were just talking about him a few episodes ago when he passed, but basically he had a hand in the coloring and the whole seahorse dinosaur combo.
But do y'all think, because I mean we are celebrating the movie, let's call a spade, we love Titanosaurus, but when you compare him to like Hedra and Gigan and Megalon and Mechagodzilla from this same era, he does feel kind of bland. Do you think that works against him?
To Hedra? I think
I think so.
Colors pop out.
A little bit.
I think it does a little bit. But I think the way that they made up for it, what the filmmakers made up for it, is they shot several of the scenes from really low angles. Okay, you guys know this. And I think in any of the Showa films, some of the best camera work is in this film.
Mm-hmm.
It's not constant.
First comes up out of the water.
You know, when it hit from Godzilla's appearance, right, with the lighting behind him, to when they're facing off and they have the camera kind of just revolves around.
Yeah.
And then Titanosaurus and Godzilla sparring. You're basically looking up at them. They look like real creatures. And in broad daylight, because they couldn't film those scenes in the studio because they didn't have enough room, so they took them outside. And if you notice, all those scenes are shot with the real sky above,
right? And
they shot them outside. And I think that was something that was missing from a lot of the films in the Showa era, is that angle, because that
and you know what, I know I get it, Christine, you're not a big fan of Hedra. But when you compare what Hedra can do versus what Titanosaurus can do, Hedra has various different forms. He has various different powers. He's a unique kaiju. We have never seen anything like Hedra before or since. Titanosaurus is kind of, it's kind of hard to make the case of him being special in an era of basically unique creatures, more unique creatures. That's what
True.
But that's why it's a hearkening back to the original roots, because it doesn't all have to be flashy and stuff, right?
It ties into dinosaurs. Like
look at Saurus, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way. And that's why a lot of people do like it, because it got a little outlandish for some people. And
a more believable kaiju. Like, he could actually exist. Like, he looks like something that could live in the ocean. I mean, we don't know what's down there. But he looks like, I feel like he's more of a grounded, realistic kaiju, like Godzilla. Like, Godzilla was a sleeping dinosaur that got awoken, and I feel like this is very.
When Leslie posted his question in the group, he was like, "Is Titanosaurus underrated, or overrated, or underappreciated?" And he didn't like my answer, but I said he kind of fits in the middle with like Ibira, Kumanga, King Caesar, all the monsters that really, King Caesar doesn't really count, but the terrestrial monsters, like even King Kong, that didn't really have a power. They just kind of were giant monsters, Daikaiju. They weren't extraterrestrial. They didn't have superpowers. So he kind of fits in that realm. For me personally, that's just my opinion. And
I do agree with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's why some people love it and some people don't love it, because they wanted it to continue with the outlandish Gigans and the Hedras and that kind of thing. But there's room for both, Leslie.
That's true.
But okay, Christina, go ahead. I'm sorry, I totally.
Oh no, you're fine. No, I mean, but I agree. Like, I do think he is in the realm of more like he doesn't have the special powers like everyone else had. He was just like a, and I like the fact too in the story that he was just a peaceful dinosaur, just doing his thing down there in the ocean until he came under the control of the aliens, and
He does carry the movie a lot more than Mechagodzilla does. If we're
yeah.
being honest.
And I
Right,
do like
Kyle?
the focus
Right,
on him. I
Kyle?
like
Oh
the
yeah, man. You bet.
the story about him is very nice.
Mechagodzilla's like this.
Oh, Mechagodzilla's just
Wayne.
kind of there. He's just like,
He spends the first half of the movie in the hangar.
hey, hey,
I know, right?
I'm here.
But I've got one question. Now, why were they so hard on Dr. Mifune when he said there's a dinosaur living under the water when we had
Here we go.
Godzilla, Angulus, Rodan, all these dinosaurs? Why is that? And why did they physically attack him?
Just
Why
a
did they
number of
physically attack him?
inconsistencies with
Don't
And
get me
I
started.
know. And why was there a picture of Telesdon and Camelor in the background? It's like, what the hell were they thinking? But I hate it and I love it at the same time because it makes no sense whatsoever.
I mean, Kyle, you probably
Yeah.
know this. Kyle, you probably know this, but I mean, in the American version, they say 15 years had passed in between Mifune being ostracized and the
Right,
events of Terra Mechagodzilla. So if we take that in universe, by 1960, we've already seen Godzilla, Angulus,
Gyra, Sanda,
Mothra.
Frankenstein, everybody, come on. man.
Well, not by 1960. By 1960, we saw Rodan, Godzilla, Angurus, and
Varan.
Varan, blah, blah, blah. But in the Japanese version, does it specify, is it 15 years or is it 20-something years?
I thought it was 30 years. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, because he
remember.
aged very drastically.
I just
over 15 years.
remember my reaction every time I saw that scene was to be like, what are these scientists
Why they hit
thinking?
him? Yeah.
Why on earth would you even question that someone found a dinosaur in Toho Universe 1975 or 1960, as it were, if it was 15 years prior? I just like that part.
Why would you beat his ass, though? Like, you got to beat his ass over it.
Yeah, they were taking him to task there. It was like they got violent. I was like, yo,
So
chill.
I also heard that the scene where Katsura is talking about the disaster monsters, right? They were supposed
Yes.
King Kong was in the original
Ghidorah,
screenplay,
yeah.
and they couldn't do it because of rights. It was past the time that Toho couldn't use it, but it was like it's just so weird. And then the dinosaurs. Never mind. Just never mind.
A dinosaur! A dinosaur's attacking! Yeah.
It's a dinosaur.
Just go with it.
The giant
We're
dinosaur.
going to show off some collectibles, right?
Oh yeah, I do have some pictures of a couple other handful of collectibles that are out there of Titanosaurus and Mechagodzilla 2. I don't even remember which ones I put in there. Oh, so this was one of the very first, I think the first Mechagodzilla 2 figure that came out. Oh shoot, I forget. I want to say it was Bullmark.
Oh, that's a vintage. That's
I
vintage.
forget.
It's
Yeah,
Bullmark
that's old.
Zincon, yeah.
It's cool.
Oh, the
These are in no
Mechanics X
particular order, by
Plus.
the way.
Yeah, these are just random. I just kind of tossed them in there. I really wish I would have got. Oh, this
I've
is
got
the-
him.
The Bullmark. Isn't it cute?
Yeah, he's
I
on the
do
shelf.
like that one. Little
I've got
tiny
him.
little guy.
Love it.
Oh yeah, and I like the ones that have the removable head with the brain. That's a really cool.
That brain didn't do jack in the movie.
Really fun. No, and I wonder why they didn't do that with the 74. Well, I guess it didn't have the brain. They didn't show the brain in that one.
He didn't have one.
Because
Yeah.
that was
Just
Katsura's brain in there.
Popped it off. And this is the Marmot Mechagodzilla 2. And I think
I
it's
love
just
these colorways.
because, these ones are. Oh, yeah, thank you, Club Tokyo. I think I got most of these pictures off of Club Tokyo. Because they have, everything. They have everything. Yeah, but beautiful colorways. And, and I
that was
do. This was
what
one
is
of
that?
my
I've got this
favorites.
one.
I need to get one.
Oh,
of
you
these.
do?
This is the Marusan with the
Yeah.
I
guts
love that.
inside.
That's cool.
It's the
Yeah, I've got him up
450
there.
size, ain't it? Yeah,
Okay.
it's so
The 450,
cool.
yeah, it's big.
It's
Yeah.
the big one, so it's not like the standard size,
Oh,
right?
okay.
It's the bigger one, but
Yeah,
that's,
you, and
that
you
one's
take
really
off the
cool.
head, it's got the brain underneath. They just with that with the Hakuba Gallery Mechagodzilla pop-up that they did, they had a lottery for the 450 Mechagodzilla, but the guts were glow in the dark. Like the mechanical guts were glow in the dark, and half of it was painted silver on the outside.
Yeah, these
So
are
it was a really
nice.
cool transition piece, and Dell asked me to enter the lottery for him, but unfortunately we did not. We were not winners.
No.
Anyway,
I know
moving
Dell's
along.
like the Mechagodzilla king over here.
Yeah, we should have had Dell come on for
I
a
know,
little bit to
right?
talk about this, because he is the MG dude. Him and John
He'll be here
Rutherford are
soon
the two.
too.
Yep. Oh, that's right. He's coming too.
It is fun to have collectibles from these films, you know. Oh, and the Death for Real. It's like I don't have the Death for Real Titano, but I really want to get it because it's so cute.
It
And then we
is.
finally have a Mechagodzilla. Oh yeah, there's the closed tail. I think it just looks so cool. I really do want to get.
So
like,
in the
Marmot?
group,
track one.
after this stream, I'm going to post. I was at Nick's house a couple of years ago, and I took a picture of his Titanosaurus collection entirely. He's like among them. It's pretty epic.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to see a colorway that you've not seen before, it's
Oh,
in
he
that
has
collection.
like all of them. It's
Yeah.
He even has like ones that were test samples, I think, like test pages.
Oh yeah, there's the
stuff.
there's the D for real.
Yeah. So I mean, okay, well, so I said there wasn't a lot of options, but now okay, it's like there's not a lot of different makers that have a Sculptor, but there's a lot of different colorways out there. So like you can find, but I would like to see, you know, other interpretations by, you know, I'd love to see CCP do a Titanosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice.
How about One Up?
One Up. Oh, I'm
One Up,
sure. I hope it was Sun Gods.
Sun
Gods would look
Sun
so
Gods.
adorable. I really hope that he does one. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see other. 'Cause, I mean, he's only in the one movie, but maybe someday he'll make a comeback. You never know. I think he's a cool kaiju, and he's cute and all that. And
Maybe
I
he'll
would like
come
to
back
see
in the
some more.
MonsterVerse.
Maybe it would be cool to see him reimagined in the MonsterVerse. You never know. Hey, you never know what they're gonna bring us.
Sometimes one movie's all you need, really.
No, I think well, he's just down there. I guess, you know, after he had his I can't say his ass handed to him, but he you know, he's just chilling down there in the ocean now. So maybe we won't see him again. All right,
Cool.
Jonathan, I know
knows?
that you probably got some good musical interpretations of this movie for us.
Well, as to no one's surprise, I will discuss a little bit of my love for the music on this film. But to kind of go lead into that, and this makes sense, I promise. I wanted to kind of start off with this movie being it's one movie that I really, really love in the Showa era, especially in the 70s, because this movie not only does it have such a more different tone, but when I was a kid. And I posted a video of this a while ago in the group, but there's a video of me in 1990 in Christmas getting 2 VHS tapes for Christmas from my uncle who got me into this whole thing in the first place. And I was very excited, but I didn't really know how to I didn't know how to read that well yet. So I just remember pointing at the tape, and my dad was like, "What is it?" I was like, "It's a tape." But I didn't know. I knew it was Godzilla because I could see the imagery on it, the visual imagery. But then he read it to me, and I remember like I watched this video, and it was so cool because I didn't really remember the moment. But he was like, "Oh, there's the Mysterians and Terror of Mechagodzilla," and it was this one exactly.
Oh wow,
that's a great cover.
This is a great cover, great art, but also, and actually, I had this signed by Tomoko Ai at Chief Fest
that's cool.
a couple years ago when I saw her there. She was nothing but the most gracious, most humblest, wonderful, lovely person you'll ever meet. Great memory from my childhood. I used to take this on trips with me to my grandfather's down in Pittsburgh and all over. I would take it all over with me just to watch this whenever I could back then. So this movie does hold a special place in my heart to some degree. And one other thing I love about this movie is the music. Now, when I was a kid, I thank Godzilla a lot and Akira Ifukube for my taste in music, because all I could hear and all that was like drilled in my brain were the music cues. And I became so infatuated with that. That became my standard of music growing up. I would listen to John Williams then and Jerry Goldsmith when I was young. And I'd be the one kid out of my class, the one that was out. I wasn't listening to Tupac or Biggie or Salt and Pepper. I was listening to, John Williams and Akira Ifukube, right? Like that was my childhood. I loved that music. And so this music in Terror of Mechagodzilla was so unique because, it was the first couple of films I had seen, but I never heard anything quite like that score. Because while it did have the typical Akira Ifukube cues and his tropes that he puts in his films. There was a different sort of darkness to it, a different sort of finality to it that made you believe that this was indeed the last one in the Showa era. There's a lot of there was a lot of closure with it. And to that end, I bring you one of my favorite versions of the score from the Waxwork Showa era series collection. And I love the artwork on this. It's just absolutely incredible. Back, we could see this one as well. One of my favorite moments where he rips off the head. He's like, "Oh, you have a brain. I'm just gonna beat that up too." A few tracks I'd like to highlight in this score. First off, obviously the main title, how the movie begins with a literal punch of music and spectacle, right? As we see as Ishiro Honda requested, he wanted the previous film introduced as as we're seeing it. And then we have another one, which I call a staple of Ifukube. It's called Off to Mount Amagi. Now, he had a lot of these, this is another trope of mine with Akira Ifukube. In a lot of his films, there's always, ironically, an expedition scene where they're going into the mountains, they're going somewhere, right? And you always have that one track. It's usually a French horn, a solo, or it's a light wind. Exactly. That's my favorite. The Karobe Valley is one of my favorite pieces from Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and it's been redone in so many different ways. But the original version and the one that's in Ostinato is obviously my favorites. And that is my favorite. What Kyle was just humming there. This is another one, Off to Mount Amagi. That's another one that I think is an Akira Ifukube staple. It has to be in the movie. It has to be in his films, especially in the Showa era. Another one we have here is Escape from Titanosaurus. Titanosaurus' theme, one of my favorite pieces. And I love how he masterfully takes the Mechagodzilla 2 theme and he weaves it sometimes very seamlessly into the Titanosaurus theme. So when you hear them together, especially when they're battling, you can tell it's not a coincidence that he did that. Because when they're in there together as a tag team, you kind of hear that kind of very seamlessly overlap each other, and it creates this nice harmony.
Godzilla 2.
Yeah, Godzilla, and that's what I'm getting to. That's another thing that's actually my main focus, really, in the last thing I will talk about. But let's see, another one I have here. These are also Akira Ifukube traits. Katsura's death, right? You have this somber, very dark piano. That's kind of he always did this piano thing with the tempo. It was never really a drum thing. It was always a tempo thing. You hear in in the original film, you hear a lot of dark, low octave piano pounding, but it's really light. It's like dong, 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 and you hear that in this film as well. Also, the farewell. The final thing we see in the movie, Godzilla wading off into the distance. We're saying our goodbyes. Another Akira Ifukube trait of all of his films. He would have a final goodbye where the characters are waving goodbye. And I always loved that. It was always kind of sad for me to watch that, even though I knew there was another film coming that I could watch. It was an end of that time period. It was a staple period. It was the end of that era. So 75, ironically, for me, is the saddest when I hear that part, because it chokes me up a little bit. I hear that music and I'm like, man, it's the end of the Showa era. This is the end of a true era. And I know the golden age had already sort of passed by that point, but that's roped into it. It's all connected. So in a sense, Akira Ifukube, exactly, he's saying a goodbye to the Showa era. And at that time, he probably thought it was a goodbye himself to him composing the series. So I think that's very poignant. Now, the last thing I will get to, and this doesn't need to be shown because we've seen it now in his renditions, is I always loved how in the original Godzilla, you hear the Japanese military, right? The JSFD, or I forget how you say it. The Japanese Defense Force.
FDS.
Japanese Self-Defense Force. There you go. Japanese Self-Defense Force, whatever. So their theme for the Air Force when they're attacking, the attack Godzilla theme, and also the military getting into position. They play it very concurrently throughout the film. The, you know, but it has a very, it has a very sharp and very antagonistic quality to it. It's very serious. And it's like we're going into battle. It's the military's march, essentially. It was never intended to be Godzilla's march. However, when we bring Terror Mechagodzilla into the fold, and Akira Ifukube is like, you know what? I think I'm going to bring back full circle a theme that I hadn't used since that original film. But I'm going to bring it to use as the heroic theme for Godzilla. I'm going to slow the tempo down. I'm going to bring it in a more major octave. It's not going to be a minor anymore. We're not in minor tone anymore. And we're going to bring that as a Godzilla's, like, that's Godzilla's theme now. That's how we identify Godzilla as. When he comes in through, when you see the atomic blast to Titanosaurus, and you see that great zoom in with the backlit Godzilla in nighttime, and you see him roar back, and you hear the music. That's a poignant moment for Godzilla, not only Godzilla, but the music in general, the evolution of the music. And to me, that theme alone, he knew if he ever did another one, or if he didn't, he knew that would be his Godzilla theme. So we hear it again in the Heisei era. He uses the villainous theme, but he also uses the iconic heroic Godzilla theme first introduced in Terror Mechagodzilla. There's a lot of history making in this movie. Whether people see it or not, there's a lot of history, particularly with the music. I'm so excited and happy that you guys had me on here because I really wanted to talk about those points. But yeah, that's just my overall interpretation. My love for Godzilla, especially for this film, is the music. I absolutely, Akira Ifukube hit it out of the ballpark with this one.
I agree.
And I'm glad that him and Ishiro Honda, maybe another reason why he wanted to come back, because he knew Ishiro Honda was coming back. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go out with my pal, my buddy, my compatriot, who I've been doing this with. And when I stopped doing them, that's when he stopped doing them. And concurrently, now we're back doing it together. And I love that synergy. I love that synergy. I love that.
That's freaking awesome, man.
And as much as I love Tsuburaya, and don't get me wrong, Tsuburaya was a proponent for the not serious Godzilla. Like, he thought it was for kids. He wanted it to be for kids. And Honda never subscribed to that interpretation of Godzilla. So he was able to envision his own without the interference. I'm going to say interference or the difference of opinion of Tsuburaya.
Yeah.
So yeah, Robert. And again, if Ifukube did not do the score for this movie, it would have not been nearly as impactful for me for the reasons that Leslie and Jonathan said. Because again, I'm just gonna reiterate what Jonathan said. The theme where in the very first 54, where Godzilla is just leaving the destroyed Tokyo and the planes are shooting, trying to kill him, Ifukube takes that theme, turns it on its head, and now the planes are helping Godzilla defeat Titanosaurus. So it completely turns it around, like you alluded to it. And I think something like that is lost on a lot of fans. Not me, and not us. And again, like I said, the 70s movies are fun. This one stands out because of the music. And I agree, definitely agree with that.
David, that's a great point. You also led me to one more final thing I'd like to say about Akira Ifukube in general, but also that really much pertains to this film in particular. In the 70s, and even with other scores, like, don't get me wrong, I love Masaru Sato and his scores, especially in Son of Godzilla and in Ebirah, Horror of the Deep. But what we get in the 70s a lot is we get music, and I love the music, but we get music that's more of like the character or the kaiju or the mechs, not necessarily their personality. It's more of like their theme, just their theme, right? But with Akira Ifukube, it's almost like he understood the monsters in the story and how to articulately orchestrate compositions for them. Because you feel so much sorrow for Titanosaurus, yet there's darkness there of the control effort, and how he's trying to get. You can tell that it's not his fault, right? It's not his fault. So that's conveyed in the music. Mechagodzilla, this sinister, dark force, but also just a mechanical shell that's being controlled by Katsura, who essentially has her own dark and sympathetic and melodic theme. These are all these are all things that he brings in the fold that makes it deeper and pulls us into the emotional side of these creatures and these characters, rather than just making a theme for them that could be fun for us to enjoy. Mm-hmm. We get a complete contrast from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, which I love that theme. You know, that jazzy, boppy, dun dun. You know, that I love that. What we get in here is a completely different contrast. We get a dark, brooding menace. We don't get this kind of fun, like comic book punch 'em all kind of character.
Exactly.
We get this deep, dark, sinister thing that Ifukube could only tap into. And I appreciate that about all of his films. He gave a voice to the creatures and the characters.
Absolutely.
And that's where I'm kind of going to end it, I think. Enough of me. So Kyle, please, I know you got some great things, so please take it away.
I mean, you guys said a lot of really great stuff. I'm going to agree that there's a lot more depth to Terror of Mechagodzilla than I initially, upon my first viewings, felt. And
Roxy agrees.
I'm not gonna. That's someone else's dog.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Basically, I'm not gonna talk about my feelings of the film that much. I actually, of all the Godzilla films that are out there, I watch it very little, but you know, that doesn't stop me from appreciating it in all of its you know, levels. And so what I'd like to do right now is share, you know, one of the things that I have that I think is unique, which is behind the scenes photos.
Cool.
From the film.
I do love me some behind the scenes.
Let's go ahead and let's try this one out. This is a view where we get to see, I think, right? Yeah, should be able to see a lot more of the actual photos. So we talk about Ishiro Honda coming back for this film and really being one of the reasons that it's so successful. So I liked, when I was going through the photos that I have, finding photos with Honda. So here he is working with his aliens. Here he is directing Katsura and Tomoko Ai and Katsuhiko Sasaki. I really love seeing him on set. Great hat choice, by the way, Honda-san.
Absolutely.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I love this shot, right?
Oh,
so
wow,
you see
look at
how
that
much
set.
work goes into just that one shot of like
Wow.
Katsura on the rocks at the beach. The wonderful alien costumes.
X plus, there you go.
Yeah, right. There you go, G-san.
No, right there.
I'll buy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
you
like
know,
this
there's I have so many photos from this. I love the designs. I've always said that one of the things I love about monsters is their design elements. So seeing the original artwork that they create, even for
so
the movie,
cool.
like here's the skeleton,
wow.
right?
You know what? It's pretty close, Kyle. They really
That's cool.
From that drawing. Titanosaurus
Mhm.
looks almost like identical to that.
Yeah.
Like it really stayed true to that drawing.
Yeah, I really like Titanosaurus as a monster. I think, you know, my favorite monsters are the ones that sort of like are echoes of the original decade of kaiju, right? So like that first decade, we get Godzilla, Angulus, Mothra, Varan, you know, those Rodan, of course, yeah. So those having like a real world connection to me, like makes them not more plausible and more believable, but something along those lines for sure.
I feel like something that could have existed, like prehistoric.
Yeah.
I like that.
Absolutely.
To me, it makes and as a dinosaur kid, I think I appreciate that for that reason.
For sure.
But yeah, it's like seeing Honda interact with people. Here's like one of the
like
cast
that.
photos after they wrap. Then of course you got to have some behind the scenes shots from the monsters as well. This is, you guys know about this.
I
Every
love
time they
this
do a
one.
Godzilla movie, they have the Shinto cleansing ritual.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot of photos from these throughout the years. Good stuff. Here's one of those shots, right? We were talking about before with
Oh yeah, there's Toa's gone back there.
young Mifune getting, you know, getting up in the faces of his cohorts there.
Before the beatdown happens.
Before the beatdown.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great shot right there. That's a great shot.
Yeah, so I don't have too many more
Oh, I like
to
that
share.
one.
But
That's
yeah,
a
I
great
love
That's
seeing
cool.
guys in the costumes,
Oh, look at.
But Terror of Mechagodzilla really stands out from the 70s movies, as we've talked about. Very happy to talk about this with you guys, and very happy to show off what I can from behind the
That's
scenes.
great. That cityscape.
Oh,
Is
this
great.
one here.
Look at
Right?
that. That's
Yeah.
Wow.
damn.
The sets are
Just to
incredible.
destroy it. Just to
They
destroy it.
really,
Wow.
really did
Wow.
do their best to go back to Godzilla's roots. I feel like
Yeah.
not just with
They did.
Wow.
the original, as many people as they could, Tomoyuki Tanaka, Ishiro Honda, Akira Ifukube, but getting that feel as well of the original type of destruction, the original type of somberness, because there really is like so much in that film that it sets itself apart from the other 70s movies and even most of the 60s movies.
Hey, Kyle.
But there you have it.
Kyle.
Those are my
That's great.
shares. Yeah.
Could you pull up one of those Titanosaurus shots right fast before we move on right fast?
Like the drawings?
Yes, the drawings, please. Just one of them.
Yeah.
That one right there. No, that one. That one. Christine, call me crazy, but does it look like the '89 Godzilla took some inspiration from Titanosaurus design? Like you have the long neck.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Damn.
I'm not seeing it.
Damn.
Well, the thick. Wait a minute. Okay, the thick size.
You had the long neck. You had the long neck like the '89. His fish fan, his main fish tail on the back looks like the arrangement of his dorsal plates because they only go up that high. The way his arms are.
Nah.
Nah. Really?
Nah.
Anyway, nice try, Leslie.
Well,
Christine's not going for it.
Well, she's blind, so who cares? So
I don't have glasses on, so.
That's right. She doesn't have her glasses on. All right. Well, that's it for our celebration of Terror of Mechagodzilla. What a great chat, guys! Great chat.
Lots of good stuff.
We're not done with the show. We're wrapping
no.
up soon. But of course, the next item. Actually, here's what we need to do. David, grab that giveaway.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm going to give David the big spotlight here. This is the Bullmark Mechagodzilla. I believe it's called the Aurora.
It is called the Aurora. It is. And I got confused. I thought it was based on the Aurora model kits. And I'm like, no, it's like the Aurora Borealis because he's so glittery.
So this is what we're giving away today. Big thanks to our donor who supplied us with a lot of cool giveaways that we're going to have throughout the rest of this year. This figure was released somewhat recently, I think within the past like 4 or 5 years. And the way we're going to give this away is if you are watching live, both on Facebook and on YouTube, you can pop a comment. Hang on one second. I actually did not put this into the banners, so I got to get that in here real quick.
I have one of these, and it's really stunning in person. It's beautiful.
And again, it's great.
Shimmers any way the light hits it.
Too bad it's not a Mechagodzilla 2, but what can you do? Right?
Close enough.
Close
right,
enough.
So if you are watching live, you can throw hashtag Space Titanium into the comments watching live. We're going to collect those comments while we have our collector moment. And then when we're done with the collector moment, we'll pick a winner using the StreamYard giveaway tool.
Good luck.
But for now, I'm going to pass things over to Mr. Jonathan Portman, who's going to talk to us about our Facebook group, the Collect All Monsters Monster Collectors. And go ahead and take it away, Jonathan.
All right. Well, thank you. So we've been doing things a little bit differently on the collector moment here as of late. We've started incorporating our group discussions that we have here for the topics at hand into a group discussion and participation in the posts on Facebook and our Facebook group, the Collect All Monsters, Monster Collectors. There's the link you see right down below. And this time around, we had a little bit of a different idea. If Godzilla did a fair job, shall we say, actually a pretty good job of fending off the tag team of Mechagodzilla and Titanosaurus. However, do you think that Titanosaurus and Mechagodzilla would have had more of a challenge had it been for Godzilla having an equal tag team partner? So that was the question we posed to you. Which monster, kaiju, whatever, creature, do you think could have helped Godzilla to then defeat Mechagodzilla and Titanosaurus? So without further ado, share the screen here. We're going to start our collector moment.
Nice.
Oh, that's cute.
Now, can anyone here guess, first off, which kaiju Kyle had inserted in here? Because I know in the Facebook group, someone alluded to it, but I don't think anybody actually said what it's from.
Is it a Toho thing or is it an Ultra monster?
Looks like an Ultraman monster thing.
I think it's definitely an Ultraman or a Super Eye.
Is it Black King, Kyle?
No. I actually don't know who it is.
Okay, so you know what's funny? Okay,
all right.
I do not know who it is either, actually, admittedly, but I know in the comments, Kevin Frederick, he posted a comment saying that looks like Goliath in the hidden picture. I don't know Goliath.
Oh,
I don't know what
I don't
series
know
from.
that's who it's supposed to be either, actually.
But that's
Wait,
what
where
they
did
were
you find this
surmising,
picture
so.
from?
It
Kyle,
the
you put it in
internet.
there, but you put it in there, but you don't know what it is?
Basically, I put it in there so I could put a silhouette on the photo, man.
It could be Ghostron. It looks like Gabra with a horn.
Gabra with a horn.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Irregardless.
Astron? I just thought it was kind of a fun little thing. Like, who is that? Who could that be? Yeah,
Definitely an Ultraman thingy.
Yeah, well,
I think
that's what I thought.
It might be
basically.
Astron. It might be Astron.
Okay. Well, nevertheless, great photo by none other than John Ruffin, my Kaiju. Who provided us with this photo. And Kyle, thank you for incorporation of our mystery Kaiju. So here we go. Let's start it off.
That's the Billiken 75 too, by the way.
So Mike Russo said that Tyrant, like he had mentioned, that Tyrant could give quite a whooping to the likes of Ultra 7, Ace, and so on. Then he could probably do a good job giving Godzilla a hand against Titanosaurus and Mechagodzilla. I would tend to agree. Looks pretty badass to me.
He ain't got no
I think it
hands.
could help. It could help,
Oh my god, it's got like a.
He could fix your car.
He could definitely fix. Well, he could destroy your car.
Destroy it and then fix it. Hey, I painted that for Mike. That's the never mind.
Oh, the one before?
Yeah. Oh wow.
So, David Partridge with the Pachi King. That's a really good answer, I think. That one, that would be wild. Definitely wild.
To say the least.
Don't know what that would look like. Probably would just beat Godzilla. Actually, probably Godzilla could just sit in the back and watch him take him to town. Because like, look at all the different various. He's got everything there. He's got everything. So
when he's done tag teaming with Godzilla, he can hang out in my collection.
There you go. There you go.
Leslie.
All right, Rick Sanchez Brown with
Oh,
Baragon.
That's great. That's great.
Baragon. I think if we're talking about Titanosaurus being more of a classic throwback to the Showa era, golden era, and then we have Baragon.
I like that idea.
I like that idea a lot. And he can burrow underground. He could really like pose a strategic advantage here.
Titanosaurus would kick his ass.
Yeah, if he could catch him, because I know he does that kangaroo hop.
That jump.
The kangaroo hop all around the place.
He can jump and dig.
He can twerk too.
He can twerk. He can definitely twerk. All right, John Logan with it a little bit. I like this one. A mech with a mech. We got Modra here. The OG. The OG.
The OG.
So I like this. Yeah. I like this. I like this answer. I like that. I like that figure too. Let's see. Larry Latham with Gorosaurus talking about
that would be interesting.
Goro
Yeah.
is on par with Titanosaurus. That's
I
what
think
I was
so,
talking
too.
about. Yeah, I agree with that.
They both
Yeah.
can kick. They both
can kick.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they can both jump,
Yeah.
jump and kick,
Kick and stretch.
catch,
Kick and stretch.
stretch.
Mora.
Now-
Titanosaurus is 50.
I'm 50. I can kick and stretch. All right.
I think that's our answer. Actually, I
Anyhow.
think Kyle and David could
Yeah.
definitely fit the bill there. So here we got Robert Dwyer with Gamora. I like that. I like to bring some Ultra
Yeah,
Kaiju
Gamora,
in
another
here.
dinosaur. Yeah,
Another dinosaur.
I love that photo in the background.
Classic
It's a great photo in the background. Very,
Right?
very pointed. Thank you, Robert.
There's Tomoko, Ms. I.
Now, Corey here, I like this because
Oh.
okay,
That's great.
this is like a reversal of roles here. We got Jet Jaguar here. I kind of I like that because Jet Jaguar, like he's still kind of around, I guess, and maybe not in this
Yeah.
timeline, but he's still around, right? So why not?
Well, if Sasaki-san wasn't Ichinose, he reprised his role as Goro.
There you
he
go.
could have brought Jack Jaguar
Yeah.
in there, right?
There you go. Now
Oh,
I don't know if this
Mechanic-Con?
is a I don't know if this is a
Mechanic-Con.
promo shot or like
It is.
but
It
I
is.
grabbed it anyway because I gotta say it was an interesting take because we had Mechanicon, but then we had obviously Mechagodzilla. But imagine them, duking it out.
That
It's
would
kind
be
of
great.
interesting.
That would be cool.
I've
Cool.
often thought that would be an awesome battle.
Yeah.
I think
Create two mechs for two
Mechanicon's
dinosaurs.
done for her, but
You ain't lying, David.
no.
You ain't lying.
Once those bombs are gone, he's out.
You ain't
Right?
lying.
Now this one from Kevin. This
Another-
movie. We
another
know this movie has a
Mechagodzilla?
lot of we know this movie has a lot of like story inconsistencies to say the least. So I guess if you wanted to, you really could say hypothetically, let's say that the humans found the Mechagodzilla remains and
Alright.
the Planet 3 aliens just brought another one with them. Like maybe they had another one in the pipeline. And so then you have two versions. Obviously, you could probably have to make them look different, but in a way, but two Mechagodzillas against each other, like that's kind of an interesting take. I mean, if the humans are running the one and the aliens are running the other, that could be kind of interesting, especially if we have Katsura mind controlling the alien one. That's kind of
Right?
interesting.
Wow. Wow. Humans making Mechagodzilla? How can that go wrong?
I know, right? Just wait till 1993. So, and that's going to do it for the collector moment. Now, I will say this. There are some honorable mentions that, people had put in the post that didn't actually have pictures. Some had pictures, but I didn't have time to put them in. So I wanted to mention them here in fairness for everybody. So we have Jordan M. Chin. He wanted Varane in there. He wanted Varane. He thought Varane would be a good
choice.
Yeah.
a good choice. And I agree. I know
Yeah.
Kyle would definitely agree with that.
The classics.
Then we had James LaRock and Christian Nault with Anguirus. I thought that was also a good idea. Because as James put it, Anguirus needs redemption.
He does.
Getting his jaw broken.
Yeah.
So, I would agree with that. He's a little bit of revenge. I'm down for that. Michael Farrow with Kong and his berry juice train. Like, hey, give Titanosaurus a little bit of that berry juice. I think, maybe it'll short circuit Mechagodzilla. Who knows? That might be cool. And then Mark Anthony Rodriguez with King Caesar. Just bringing King Caesar back
Bring him back
from his slumber.
Yeah.
Just bringing it back. So
Got to go back to Okinawa though.
gotta go back to Okinawa. There you go. And that's another edition of the collector moment. Please keep in mind we have these going on in the future. So we will be posting them within a week or two frame of the episode at hand to keep it fresh for everybody, but also so that you can
So who is that?
here we go.
It's actually Goliath from.
It's
from,
Goliath.
Goliath.
versus
Yeah.
King
Who
Goro.
was that?
Yeah.
That was
my
Kevin-
favorite
Kevin
movie.
Frederick.
Always
There you
on at
go.
G-Fest. It's on every G-Fest. Like on every time I turn the TV on, that movie's on.
Right?
Yikes.
All right, there you go.
All right, listen, before we go to the giveaway, can I show you my Halloween costume that relates to this?
Oh, yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
so again, thanks to Peter Santa Maria for giving me this awesome figure. And here's the box that looks like the costume, the actual costume box that
That's so
got
cool.
from Woolworths in 1972 or 73. All right, so this is the actual mask that I wore as a kid.
Wow.
My gosh.
The beard wasn't there.
You made your
And
own toy.
and to make matters even more interesting, I have the actual costume.
Put it
itself.
on.
Oh,
Put it on.
Put
I'm just
it
kidding.
on.
This show is not rated that way. This is a family show. You do not want to see me in this. But
Oh,
anyway,
wait.
isn't that cool? My mom
Is that
found
the
it.
original one
This
you
is the
had?
original one. This is not a repro. This is the one that my
Wow.
tiny ass wore in 1972 or
Oh
73.
my god.
And there's the and now you can see why this figure is so, because it's the same mask.
That
really.
is
It is the
crazy.
same mask
Fantastic.
and the same costume.
I love
Except for
it.
this is
that
a
is
little
so
girl.
awesome.
She's got the pigtails.
Oh.
I might
Oh,
take them
nice.
off, but just to make sure it's me. But anyway, thanks, Peter. You're awesome, and go check out Mondo Toy Talk for the creature too. Check that
It was
out.
a great episode.
Great episode. All right, I'm
Absolutely.
done. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, so we are throwing out that giveaway. Go ahead and show that again,
What?
David. This is
Oh yes,
the
giveaway. Okay, yeah, giveaway.
the
Ta-da.
Bullmark Aurora Mechagodzilla. And if you haven't already thrown Space Titanium into the comments, I don't know what to tell you, because at this point we are going to go to the StreamYard giveaway tool and start collecting those comments.
Woo! Good luck, people.
25
Collect
entries.
all comments.
Here we go. Okay. Drum roll, thank you. Hey, that is freaking cool.
Yay.
Congratulations,
There you go.
Bolton 0080. I just want to say something real quick. I don't know who Bolton 0080 is. However, at the top of the show, he chimed in and was like, I hope I'm not too late to enter the giveaway. So the StreamYard gods have smiled upon you, Bolton 0080. What we need you to do is send, I guess I'd say if you're not connected. Yeah, if you're not connected with David already on Facebook or Instagram, let's get an email sent out. I'll go ahead and field the email. You can send it to kyle.yount@gmail.com. Once again, that's kyle.yount@gmail.com. And we'll get you hooked up with your prize. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. Congratulations, man. And thank you again to our mysterious donor.
Anonymous donor.
Yeah,
Awesome
who has
stuff
given us
coming.
some really cool
Great
stuff to give away
stuff.
this year. So make sure you tune in every month to Collect All Monsters, because that's one of, like, I think we literally have something for every single episode for the rest of the year, if not
And then
even
some.
further
And
than
then
that.
some. Yeah.
And look how supportive our members are. Everyone's. I love how we are like a family. I do love it. Like, everyone genuinely is happy for everyone who wins, and it's just really fun to see. I love this group. I love the people in it.
You know, we got good people.
Here,
Yes,
here.
we do.
Here's here. Okay, so the last thing I'll say is please don't forget to tune into Growing Up with Godzilla
Yes.
on
I
Johnny
can't
Winter's
wait to check
channel,
that out.
YouTube, tomorrow at, what did I say, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Time, I should say, which is 1 p.m. Pacific Time, and I believe early in the morning Japan time. So I'm going to leave it at that. We thank you guys all for being here, for hanging out with us for a 2-hour, 42-minute show. You guys are awesome.
Wow.
We still got 53 people who are watching.
That's awesome.
So you guys are crazy cool. And of course, what we do after every show is we say, until next time, our planet may be doomed, our Earth devastated, the monsters are in revolt, and civilization is in chaos. We must unite and collect all monsters. And we'll see you for the next show. Bye, guys.